You guys are set? All right. So at 6:31, 2nd October, we can call our meeting to order. Gentlemen are here for agenda items, not for public comment?
That's correct.
Okay, good. So we do not have any public hearings, no public comment, no appointments. So we can go right into advisory business. So if you please introduce yourselves and give us a quick... No, please, just if you would, make sure the microphone's on so we can... Little red light should be on.
It's on. There you go. Okay. I'm Beverly, and this is Dennis Kendall, and we live in Florida, and our son Matthew lived here. And I'll try to get through this one. Okay. He died in August, and he spent a lot of time in Wasserman. So we wanted to put a... Here you finish.
We wanted to put a granite bench in a place he used to spend quite a bit of time over on the lake where he lived, in his memory, and that's about it.
And Gage knows where it is.
I have the map here of Wasserman and this location, and it's...
And this is a mock-up if you want
Yeah.
to see it. The lettering will be more centered, but if you guys want to see it. It's beautiful.
And it will be anchored.
If you guys want to see where it is, that's about the general location they're trying to get a little bit of an outlook onto the lake. So it's going to be a little bit of a chore to get it up there.
The lake or Green's Pond? It looks a little more like Green's Pond on this piece of the circle, right?
It's in the fitness trail.
Oh, right. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, trying to get it to that point.
Yep.
It's
Okay.
going to be difficult. They have their neighbor, your
Derek
son's-
Locke.
Yeah, Derek Locke was Derek's neighbor's been helping them out with that. We're going to have to grant them permission to put a motorized vehicle on there, which is basically a motorized wheelbarrow, similar thing to haul it up there, and to do the digging for the concrete. So. Just a small circle on top there. So, similar to last meeting, this is not really as we said, it's not really a gift to the Concom. It's more of just a memorial bench, and the issue of approval, I believe, but just on our part, whether we'd like to do something, have something like this done. So, we didn't really vote on the last one. We just said yes. So we think it's.
Oh, we did. But,
Yeah.
so.
But do you have a timetable?
We're waiting for you.
The guy said he can have it ready in about a week. He gave me his cell phone number. He wanted me to call him after the meeting.
Okay.
We'd like to get it done before the end of the month because we sold the house.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Oh, congratulations.
We put it up for sale, and the next day we had an offer. We had a couple of offers, but we took one offer was contingent on the sale of their house and that kind of thing. And they want to move in. They want the closing the 31st of October. So
We'd like to get this finished before that.
Right.
yeah,
So we can check it out.
and then we're coming back during Thanksgiving and
Okay.
check on it, among other things. But that's our time frame.
All right, we don't really have a subcommittee for
No, we don't.
Wasserman, so we kind of need someone. I think I'm not really around during the day, which would be.
I can do it. I work
If
across
you-
the street.
Okay, that's true. We're fairly close. Could you coordinate with? I can give you the contact information, and be the contact, so they can get in there, get the gate open, or whatever they need to get in there.
Sure.
Okay. You leaking?
No, well, Karen from Wildcats tried to send an email to us,
Oh.
but that's why I'm
I see.
even looking at it.
So I move that we move forward with this memorial bench in honor of your son.
Thank you.
Second.
Okay. Any other?
I know this is difficult. Is there anything you'd like the people who might be watching this meeting to know about your son while you're here?
He was a great guy.
Okay, that's great. Yeah.
And he loved the park. He was there almost every day, and he would take his dog for walks. And he loved Merrimack. He had a great time here. And we're from Connecticut originally. And, he just died too young.
I'm sorry for your loss.
Thank you.
He bought that house out there, and it was pretty much a wreck. And he built it up until it's now quite a hell of a house.
Engage can tell
It
you.
is. It's a beautiful home.
Yeah.
He put a lot of himself into the house. And he worked real hard.
I think there's no other comments or questions. And you should, all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Thank
Passes
you very
overwhelming.
much.
Thank
We
you
really
very much.
appreciate it.
Appreciate you guys coming down.
Thank you.
It's our pleasure. And I want to say everybody has been so kind to us. We really appreciate it. Thank you.
You're so welcome. I know Derek and his brothers and his family.
I know.
Oh, yeah.
I know. They've been really good.
Yeah.
Okay. So should I call him? Okay.
Yeah, just go ahead. I'll get that one. Take care. Okay.
Thanks, Gage, for helping out.
All right, moving on, SRS Petroleum Services. Gentlemen would like to come up. She took the map, didn't she? She took the map, that's all right. Yeah, and just,
Is this okay right
no, that's fine, yeah. And just, the camera can get there, that'll be fine. Lost count of the haze.
Yes.
Good evening, Mr. Chair. Good evening to the Commission. My name's Garrett Piccarillo. I am a civil engineer for MHF Design, located in Salem, New Hampshire. I am here representing the owner, SRS Petroleum. This is for site plans that were submitted, site improvement plans for a site located at 6 Wright Avenue, shown here on this aerial. It is identified as tax map 4D3 lot 91. Just wanted to show you this aerial for reference, what's surrounding the site. The site is located in the Industrial 1 district, with a portion of the site located in here, kind of in this wooded area, as limited commercial district. It's surrounded by other industrial uses along Wright Avenue, and it's bordered by Daniel Webster Highway, Route 3 to the west, and numerous retail uses. And to the south is a currently vacant, undeveloped lot, which is actually zoned residential, but currently undeveloped. There is the Merrimack River is generally close to the site. It's about 1,000 to 1,200 feet or so east of the site, and Horseshoe Pond is about 700-800 feet south of the site. So here's the site plan that we have submitted. Basically, the extent of the work that's proposed is to take this existing building here. I'm sorry, I'll actually show you this on the existing conditions plan first for clarity. So currently on this lot, there is this existing structure here. It is about, 5,057 square feet for this permanent structure here. And off the rear of the building is an existing modular office trailer. It's a more of a temporary structure, and it is 720 square feet. SRS, the owner, is proposing to remove just the existing modular office trailer and replace it with a permanent structure connected to the existing building that is 500. I believe it's 694. I'm sorry. Yep, 694 square feet. So they're actually proposing a slightly smaller addition, a permanent structure right on the back, which you can see a little more clearly here on the site plan. So it's a little faded here, but you can see the existing structure and the proposed structure just kind of tucked in the corner there. Along with that, SRS is also proposing to install an above-ground storage, fuel storage tank. It's actually one 6,000 gallon diesel tank. That has actually been approved by New Hampshire DES prior, and we have those permits here if anyone would like to see them.
Can I just ask a quick question? Is this
Yeah.
for one tank or two?
It's for one tank that's compartmentalized into two, and
Okay, so that's why it's 1A, 1B?
Yeah, I'm Jeff LaCory from SRS. I'm the vice president of the company. The tank is 3,000 gallons of diesel on-road and 3,000 gallons of off-road diesel. We're just, I don't think we've referenced it before, but SRS is a construction company. We work throughout the New England region from Maine to Connecticut. This is one of our major hubs. We employ about 32 folks in that office on Wright Ave. So this is a primary staging point for all of our heavy equipment that goes throughout New England.
Okay.
So.
I just want to make sure, sounds like when you read it that there's two tanks, and you're saying it's two tanks in one.
Matter of fact, I'll give you each
Okay.
folks, you can just pass them around. These are the permits that we submitted to the DES. It shows the tanks. Basically, it's a double wall steel tank. It's UL rated to store fuel, and it has a fire rating, a 2-hour fire rating, which the state requires. The advantage to the system is that it's compartmentalized. You have two
Right.
tanks in one. Last couple pages will give you the specifics on the actual tank and the apparatus that goes along with it. Sorry to steal your
no
thunder.
problem. I just wanted to give you a second to look at what's in front of you, so you see if you have any more questions. Jeff can answer more of the technical questions if you have any regarding the fuel storage.
The proposal on the tank, it's a double wall steel tank with a fire rated buffer on it. In addition to that, the tank sits in a concrete dike that will catch any auxiliary spills that potentially could happen on the tank top. Has all the state-of-the-art containment for the fill, as well as there'll be a single fuel dispensing cabinet within that contained dike area. It also has a sump to it, so filter changes or anything that potentially could cause leaks will be captured in that. It will have a full monitoring system in addition to that will monitor both the double wall of the tank as well as the rupture basins for the fills, as well as the dispensing cabinet. So if any of those areas were to be compromised or leak, we would get an alarm that'll be right in the office that will alert us.
So a portion of our site is located within the 100-year flood zone. The boundary is shown here as this dashed line. Flood zone being to the northeast of that line. And additionally, the site is located within the town aquifer protection district, which is what brings us before you today. But basically, it is minor improvements. I mean, to the building, like I said, that's really all there is to it. And then some parking just to meet site plan regulations and all that. We're not proposing any additional pavement areas, no real drainage improvements through the site. Currently, everything just sheet flow is off the site from basically from west to kind of northeast down into this low area over here. So there's currently no existing closed drainage system on the site. Everything is just overland flow. We don't plan to alter that at all, other than to just do some minor grading behind the building to kind of keep things acting the way they are and prevent flooding of the building. So, we have sent a full site improvement plan set to the town for review. The existing conditions plan here. We do have the site plan, which is what I was showing you a little bit prettier over here. We do have a grading plan, which is, like I said, I mean, I'm sorry, that was a demolition plan, I'm sorry, site plan, and then the grading plan's pretty minor. The minor improvements I just described there. So basically everything's just gonna, all the storm water that is behind the building or coming down this slope here is just gonna kind of veer off through a swale around and then continue to sheet flow over the paved area and off into the slope area over here, just like it does today. No utility improvements or anything. I mean, everything's basically staying as is.
So what's that outflow structure on to the north of the building?
Question. So that is just a foundation perimeter drain that we want to install once they put in the permanent structure here. That's because currently the existing modular office trailer, stormwater kind of just flows underneath it.
Mm-hmm. It's not permanent.
It's not a permanent structure, so once that's in there with the foundation, you gotta send it somewhere. It's a little higher on this side of the building, so just in order to prevent flooding of the structure, we're gonna put an under drain around here to catch any stormwater, any groundwater, whatever's in there, and it'll get pushed out this way and then outlet over here into riprap that will just carry on into the wetland area.
What about roof water, stormwater from the roof?
Today it's
currently it's a flat. It does have some gables on it. It does have flat portions. We do have gutters on the eastern side of the building that just drain down onto the lower side of the east parking lot.
So it would still be
sheet flowing off.
Sheet flowing off the same way, and like you said, that minor
Is the
curve
rendering here in the back pretty accurate as to what you have for roof structure now?
Should be, yes.
And then additionally, we did provide a full erosion and sedimentation control plan for the site.
During construction, correct?
For during construction throughout the entire process there, and so that's shown here. I mean, it's your typical silt fence where it's needed, stockpile area surrounded by a silt fence. There's really no catch basins located anywhere here that sediment could get into that we need to protect. So there's really none of that, and then just your typical construction entrance to protect the street from getting sediment runoff and all that. So that's basically our proposal there. So I would like to open it up to the commission for any additional questions they have.
Did you do a stormwater study?
We did not, and
Were you asked to?
we weren't. So I did have a conversation with the town and was told that I didn't need to at first because I was not proposing any increase in impervious area at all on the site, and I was maintaining existing drainage patterns. So it really wasn't necessary. We are on the agenda for the planning board tomorrow, so we will find out if they've maybe, after actually reviewing the plans, if they've changed their stance on that at all, and in which we would provide any calculations that they see necessary.
Shall I say hey?
Yeah. You can't count that high.
So I know this is the first time probably the first time you brought plans before us, but
Yes.
the word hay is a bad word.
Okay.
Okay? Hay brings with it seeds. There's almost no way to get around it.
Yep.
So wherever you place on your plans, and I know it's probably boilerplate,
Yep, yep.
replace hay with straw.
Okay.
Or do something else, okay?
Okay, yeah,
All right?
absolutely.
'Cause
Mind if I
that's-
write that?
Yeah, not a problem.
Please do.
Please do. Especially where you are having some sheet flow into a wetland.
Absolutely, yep,
Okay.
yep. Okay,
Yeah, we do not want to introduce new species into the
yeah,
wetland.
understood. Yep.
Got enough new ones.
Yeah.
Yes.
And along that same line, you're talking about how you're reseeding and seed mix. You don't
Yes.
specify anywhere in here the fertilizer types.
Yep.
So again, because you're gonna be draining into wetlands,
Mhm.
no phosphates.
Okay,
That middle number is gonna be a 0.
Yeah.
okay,
Slow release nitrogen, the better.
gotcha, absolutely. Yeah, we can add notes and clean up our,
So phosphates have been a problem around Horseshoe Pond and in the pond, creating bad plumes of stuff. Different colors appeared in the pond, and it could be associated back to phosphates.
okay,
So we would like you to not use any phosphates at all.
okay,
And the other language we normally have is to test your soil first. You might find you don't need to apply any fertilizers. It may be
Okay.
nutrient, good enough.
yep,
So I know you could find soil testing facilities. If not, contact the New Hampshire Cooperative Extension from
Yep.
UNH, and they
Okay.
can point you in that direction. So you
Well,
might
thank
find
you.
the testing is cheaper than having to apply it, so.
yeah. Still awesome. So, I mean, in line with kind of the discussion right now, we did not provide a landscape plan, if
Right.
that may be a follow-up question. I was in contact with the town and was told not to for the first go-around.
There's not a lot of landscaping over there, so.
There is.
No, it's just really grass
Yeah.
area. And to be honest with you, I manage the facility, we don't do much fertilizing, if
Yeah,
at all.
yeah.
I mean, we
Right.
cut the grass and try to keep the place neat and.
I'm just saying, whoever's gonna be doing some of this work, if you're gonna tell them to come in and seed,
Yep.
first thing they're gonna do is they're gonna spread starter fertilizer over everything and seed it, so.
And that's bad stuff, because phosphate's good for making it pop.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, okay, we can certainly revise any notes and
So
call outs on the plans.
how are you handling the rainwater that's going to hit the tank and fall into your
The dike.
dike? Yeah.
The detail, the engineer Wilcox and Barton, when they did the design work, show a valve that we would periodically have to release that water. So
Release it.
they actually show it a pipe going through the dike wall to release that potential water. We would.
Will you be treating that water before it gets released to the?
There was no plans according to the way it was designed. No. Typically, these installations, they're not required to. They just did it as an additional safeguard. The tanks are double wall. All the piping and everything else is protected. So typically, we shouldn't run into that problem. It's not a requirement. I think at the time the engineer thought it would be a good practice just to have it. We could keep it closed, and then periodically, if we had to release that water, we would release it. I mean, we could always make arrangements to do some type of filter sock or petroleum-based absorbent sock when we discharge the water.
That's my concern.
Yeah,
Is the release of petroleum.
mine too.
Yeah. I'm sure, because you'd have to deal with the what happens when that happens. So.
We deal with it all the time. We're actually, the company I work for, we're a petroleum contracting firm, so we do remediation work and we do all sorts of fueling system installations. So this is what we do all over New England.
Because we're used to seeing parking lot plans and other things where there's oil-water separators and all that involved, so.
Right. And there's a little more of a challenge on this site in that there's no existing drainage system to tie into.
Right.
So, like, as you can see, I had to run this pipe unnecessarily in a necessarily long distance.
I don't think there's really much we can say about it now, but even now, at the I guess kind of at the south side of that concrete wall, your retaining wall,
Yep. On which side?
up to the north side a little bit. You got
Yep.
you got a concrete retaining wall.
Yep.
It's quite scoured right now, on the edge of that, all the way down to the wetlands.
Correct. Yep.
Yeah. Is there any thought of putting some kind of hardscape or something in there to stop that from eroding further?
There hasn't been at this time, but if that's a recommendation of the commission, we could certainly look into that.
I know it's kind of a little bit out of scope, I guess, but
No.
it just seems like, you know, from looking at it from the far side, you can see it's pretty well.
Yep.
It's pretty
No,
into
agreed.
that sidewall.
Yeah.
We do plan on getting into a lot more of the drainage details tomorrow with the planning board, because I know there's already been some concern from abutters and all of that, so we will be talking a lot more in detail about that, but we're certainly open to any
How big is this dike? I'm trying to.
I don't have the plans in front of me, but it's
4 inches, right? I'm sorry.
it's 4 inches
4
tall.
inches tall. I did a quick calc on it earlier, and I got that it could hold 900 gallons of fuel if it got to that point, which obviously is not. We hope it doesn't. But
Is there a dike and then this other concrete slab is just like a
you
gas
have
station?
a-
It's got that with the edges around it.
yes.
It has the PLB grooves. So the area, the
PLB grooves.
positive limiting grooves, they call them.
LB. Okay.
Those grooves,
Yep.
basically every 150 linear feet of those grooves will contain about 55 gallons. So typically, if that calculation, it produces a certain amount of gallonage that it can catch, which is atypical of a truck or a vehicle that would be resting on that
Yeah.
mat fueling. The thought process is that if for some reason they have a problem, or they pull a hose off or something and it leaks, or even the fuel tank ruptures, you will catch some of it. You won't catch it all, but you'll catch some. So that apron, we call those the fueling aprons. They have the PLB grooves, which is an ancillary form of protection for
Right.
vehicles that are fueling. In addition to that, you also have the tank mat, which has the containment wall, the short 4-inch high containment wall around it that the tank will sit on and be anchored to.
Anyone else got questions?
For the discharge, does it run east?
The discharge for the
The discharge inside the dike, does it run east?
I believe it's on the south side of the dike, I believe is where they show it,
Okay.
which would be on,
It's
right,
on this edge, right?
right on that edge,
Yeah,
yes.
I believe it's. Yeah, I think it actually is that line showing.
Yeah,
there.
and it falls within the PLB groove, so theoretically, if you were to have something catastrophic, my assumption would be we would always leave it locked and closed, and accumulate, liquid over time.
And it's in direct sunlight, so evaporation is going to be the most likely.
Yes, although with diesel fuels, not necessarily. You'll
At
have
least water would be.
The water will, but
water
not
would
fuels.
evaporate, yes. Diesel would have a tendency to linger, as we know.
What's that other tank down existing?
Down over here.
Yes.
That's actually a truck washing area.
Oh. Okay.
Trucks just come in, park there, get
It's-
washed.
Oh, that's what
It's
the
got
oil
a
water.
separator
That's what
in
the
it.
oil water separator is for. Okay.
Yeah, so that was because
So
that didn't have all
trucks
the.
and all of our excavation equipment, we can park on that mat, and we can utilize that. It has a lid that we close, so when it's not in operation, water's shedding off that mat typically,
Yep.
just naturally, but during the process of washing vehicles and/or equipment, that we have a boom absorption system that goes around it, so we can capture anything that potentially might want to migrate off of it, and then you have an oil water separator right next to it.
What about the north of the building, the overhead roof storage structure?
That was an old structure that was actually, we inherited that when we bought the property from White, the construction company that owned it before us. It's just 2x4 construction. It has an asphalt roof on it. It's in some level of disrepair. I know at some point the owner had thought about potentially taking it down. I know we do store some components equipment that we use for our installation work, filter fabric, silt fence, and silt socks and things like that we use for construction. But that's about the extent of it. But it has nothing meaningful. It has no gutters. It's not tied into anything. It doesn't have power to it. It's just kind of a lean-to structure that they created back when White owned the facility.
No. I don't have a whole lot of other questions. Anyone else?
This is all my questions.
So you said, are you guys, you're going before the planning board tomorrow night?
Yes.
So he has to, that means he has to prepare our response tonight.
Oh.
So
Sorry about that.
he's overjoyed.
Yeah.
Hold on, let's come up with some more comments.
Yeah.
Did you capture everything? Do you need us to repeat anything, Gage?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
Does your snow removal
Yes.
take into account the
Yeah, they did,
Yeah, okay.
before we got home.
the fueling area? Do you plow that any differently?
Typically, we wouldn't. The way it's located, it's on the egress in and out of the facility for all of our construction equipment. So it would be, we typically plow right from the street into our property. So snow removal's all brought towards the back side of the north side of the facility. So we would go right across that. So it would be, that would typically would be what we did. And that basically we tried to locate it so that it was in an area where we could kind of clean up that entrance gate into the facility, put something more permanent. We figured concrete would be a more substantial base than the asphalt, because we do have some large equipment. We have cranes that are, 80-ton cranes. We have some excavators, 45-ton track excavators and things like that that are moving in and out of the facility. So the pavement in those areas take a beating.
Questions, comments, anything else? No? Yes, good. Cindy? Okay. No?
Would you like these back?
Yeah, do you,
You can hang on to them, folks, if you like.
thank you.
Great.
All right, we'll get our comments together and get them off the planning board for you tomorrow night.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks for your
Appreciate
time.
your time.
Help with all this stuff down there.
Gage, I'm going to recuse myself before we take up this next item, and I'll return after this item's over.
Tim, stay. Thank you, folks. Thank you. Yeah, sorry. Just take one of these. Pass them down. Thanks. I don't know.
Could
Oh, you
possibly,
already got one?
looks like
Yeah,
it's the
that's
same
it.
one then.
That's
All
it.
right.
That's what the-
Never mind then.
So, I'm Chris Ross, and this is Joel Sickala, both from Synergy Self Storage in Merrimack. We have a small situation that was an oversight throughout that project that we built. We had gone before all the powers that be and collected our comments and was in the process of construction, managing a very large project on our own without a management company, which went very smooth. And we had a couple of oversights. One of them was a list of comments from the fire department. If you look at the old site plan that was in front of the planning board, there was parking spaces along,
It's actually
it's still on there.
Yeah.
There's parking spaces along the entire perimeter of the building. And additionally, not that it pertains to this, but there were no windows in the back of the building. And they wanted to see some sort of an access road going out to Wright Ave. The first plan showed this hammerhead at the end of the parking lot with just a wall. So we went back and addressed those concerns, and we added a window on each end of the floor, on every floor for them. We also added an additional door that they wanted on the ground level in the back of the building. We relocated the parking and decided to go ahead and spend what was a little over $100,000 to put in that roadway. In doing that, we moved the parking down there also because that was the most cost-effective thing to do. The planning board, community development, actually has pictures, many pictures to show my abutter. I'll leave him nameless, where all his stormwater has been basically rushing from his site, not into the wetlands, but onto my property. And it just went right down our existing roadway, turned it into a river, and basically flooded out the entire roadway. So it was completely impassable. In fact, those pictures that they have on file show a tractor-trailer at length sitting in the roadway with this enormous pond behind it. There's no way to pass it. So we had to bring in some fill and bring that grade up a little bit, and we paved it for the trucks to get over it so that we could maintain it. When community development came in to do their final inspection, it was brought to light that it was never really put on the actual plan. We discussed it, we addressed their concerns, but we never put it on the plan. So we're kind of taking care of that now.
Yeah, it's pretty much just a formality at this point. The zoning board has already looked at it and given their blessing for it. But now, in order to get the community development to basically give the final sign-off, this was one thing that was missing on their end. So here we are.
Is there any long-term proposal to look at some type of treatment for the water coming off that? Sorry, Chris.
Actually, if we wanted to go down that direction, we have actually
We're about 10 minutes too late.
yeah, and not only that, but we've the way that we did our drainage on our site, by cutting down the water that was going down there, and the additional drainage that I'm going to be seeking out on any future development around me to keep the water from coming onto my site. The only water that I have is the water that has been going on that property since day one. So what I'm trying to do is get the water from the other properties to stop coming onto my property. That's the real problem.
Well, my concern, I was down there looking at it the other day, is down here where you're going to be parking these vehicles, because there's already stuff parked down there.
Yeah.
There's no treatment at all for the water going into that wetlands.
Yeah.
So if you've got a vehicle down there and there's vehicles down there, if anything's dripping or leaking, it's all going to be going right into that wetland. There's no curbing, there's no basin drainage, there's no nothing.
Yeah.
It's just sheet flowing right across the pavement right into the wetlands.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that if you look at it that way, you are correct, but it's no different than any other parking lot with just ordinary vehicles parked there. I mean, we don't anticipate any.
No, a lot of those have drainage basins, and they go through water and sewer separators, and they go through oil separators or grit separators and stuff like that. Where they're discharging stormwater into the wetlands.
Gage, I'm gonna be blunt. We I'm gonna try and keep calm. My situation is this. SRS Petroleum has been a huge problem on my lap for 3 years, and I plan to address that problem tomorrow. I have had that guy and everything on his site coming rushing down, sheeting, not into the wetlands, but directly onto my property. The pictures, you should see them. I've got a river. You can't stand while we have a downpour in that area. So we had to spend $100,000 to bring in fill, to excavate that, and to pave that so that it
Is it coming down right Ave?
It's coming down a little bit of right Ave, but it's all on his site. He has absolutely no drainage. Everything is sheeting directly at my property. okay? And with the work that he's done, he's got a ton of water coming onto our site. So we had to build that up so that we could end the flooding in that roadway. You've got to see the pictures to see what I'm talking about. I mean,
So what we did, they mentioned the agenda item before us mentioned about no drainage that didn't have any drainage on their site. They are in fact correct, because the only drainage that addresses the issues from their site is drainage that we put in on that section of the roadway that separates our roadway from their site. What we did is
we put a swale.
We put a swale and lined it with stone and
put in some riprap stone, that large stone.
Yep.
His water is so strong that it's actually taken that stone and carried it down that trench. It's that strong. It's that
That was
much.
right, that's right, the section behind the fence?
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
You kind of,
I welcome you to come down and take a look.
no, I was there yesterday.
It's locked. You can't get through unless you walk around the back.
Yep.
The customer of ours actually just recently ripped off the gate, so you're more than free to travel right through it. But, take a walk and see what we're dealing with. We've already 3 times had to bring in stone and refill that basin. It just, the water is that strong.
So basically the roadway as you see it was a byproduct of us trying to
It's the
address
problem.
our road getting washed out.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the upshot of what you have.
Our road turned into was a river. It came off of his site. It went directly onto our site, took a left-hand turn, went right down the driveway because it slopes down. When it gets to the pond, it slopes up towards my property. So the water just rushes right down my driveway. It's a river, and then it turns into a pond.
Did you know that they were going to be here tonight?
Yeah, and I found out via email that we were neck on neck, so it was,
We're advised not to
just
let
to
the
wait
planning
until the
board
planning
take care
board
of it,
does it. So we're just following, I've been dealing with this town for 15 years, and I usually take the advice and it works out, so,
So with this raised roadway,
yeah.
is the flow from the SRS site and the flow from your roadway, is it all going in, it's all going into the wetland now? Is that under control?
It's always done
It's
that.
somewhat under control. We put the swale and lined it with stone, as we said,
Yeah.
hoping that was going to alleviate the problem. It reduced the problem. It didn't totally alleviate it. When there's a heavy rainstorm, the water still comes from that site right over our stone trench and onto
And it
the
just
road.
washes onto our roadway. I mean, in fact, I got pictures, they got pictures. It's showing the dried up sand on our driveway from that soil because the water is just flowing so strong. It goes right onto the roadway and right down our driveway. So that's something that, that needs to be addressed. So we did everything we could, but I mean, every year we've got to, bring in some more rock and put some more rock in there because it's just too strong. It can't handle that much water coming over.
So I guess I have 2 parking questions.
Sure.
These spots, 23 spots along your roadway, is that primary parking?
No, that's just for like boats. Some storage containers are there. Campers, pull behind campers. It's rare that it would be a motorhome. There are a couple, 2, 3 motorhomes in there. But, pull behind trailers, campers, boats, things like that.
And so it's not primary customer parking?
No.
There's
No.
storage spots.
Yeah, just storage. Yeah, strictly storage. And I, again,
Basically, what
welcome you
happened
to
is
take
we
a
had
walk down
some parking up near the building that, as Chris mentioned, when during the initial review of the fire department, they wanted us to eliminate those spots there to leave that free for emergency vehicles against the building.
Yeah.
And then, as a result of having to put this road in,
It just made more
this
sense.
this was our way of at least reclaiming some of those spots, that we lost there. We put down there on the road.
Otherwise, we're putting them against the guardrail, and, Tim knows, I mean, you go around to the back of the building to the sliding glass doors, and, we need every bit of that room for a moving truck to back up, so we don't want to kind of clog.
Who did the original engineering on this road? Because this used to be just dirt,
Yeah,
as I remember
it's
it.
a dirt road, that's
Yeah.
correct.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So did you hire anyone to do any engineering on this at all, or was it just pavement?
We had our engineer review it and look at it. It was pretty evident of what we had to do. I mean, we had to have a X amount of width on the ramp, and then, had to bring in the fill to make that ramp. And then we just added, how much?
Were you aware of that 25-foot buffer?
Yes,
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 yes, we
yeah.
were.
Yeah, that's what, yeah, part of the, if you look at where the buffer is, part of the buffer is actually, the ramp is actually right into the buffer area.
Right.
But that was as a result of having to, because there's like a 12-foot elevation difference between the parking lot behind the building and the roadway there. So the length of that ramp was determined by, the elevation change. And that was just to get the roadway for the fire department to be able to get down there to that level.
Yep.
So the bulk of the buffer, where we passed over into the buffer was as a result of that ramp there.
Right. We encroached a little bit beyond that in a couple of areas. I actually went to the extent, I was not asked to, but I actually went to the extent of hiring BAG land consultants to come out and reflag the entire area to make sure before we came here that we did not encroach on the wetlands, and we did not. I've got a copy of his letter.
It's in the packet.
Okay,
it is.
okay.
Okay, good.
It's just usually that work is done prior to
We
the
understand,
work.
we understand.
So,
It was a
you know,
big
we're-
project, this was our first one, we've did a pretty good job crossing our Ts and dotting our Is, but this was an oversight, throughout the whole.
We're going to have to make some type of recommendation to the planning board, and part of it's going to have to be some type of conditioning or some type of treatment of any of the stormwater going in there, even just maybe a berm, just pouring a more pavement, but just making a berm along that edge, so at least we can control it through some kind of a filter or sand basin. I don't know. I'm not sure what else we could do. Because it's a pretty heavy grade right now. That's pretty much a low point at the end there, at the bottom of that ramp.
It's about 50% less than what it was.
Yeah.
It's about 50% less than what it was.
Well, right, but I'm saying is right now that's about the low spot, because it seems to come from Wright Ave to the bottom of the hill there. That's kind of that low spot is right here, right?
Yeah.
So the water flows pretty much down towards your building from Wright Ave.
Yeah.
On that pavement.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I mean, it would be just at the end. Boy, this is.
I look at this as
Yeah,
a dramatic improvement of what we were dealing with, and quite honestly, one that I was forced to have to do because of the problems that we've been dealing with for 3.5 years and getting no help, getting them rectified.
Because even then, you made the comment, but you have to bring in more rock. You know what that means? Is all other rocks now in the wetlands.
No, we've fetched a lot of them.
Well, I know, I'm just saying, but that's that.
Take a look. I mean,
You're in a no-win. I understand
Right.
that. So I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be a
I hear you.
thing, but that's that's obviously there's got to be something else, some other method to deal with that. So if the planning board's going to be looking at this tomorrow night.
Well, once we get the situation resolved next door, we won't have to be replacing rock anymore. That's
right. No, I understand.
Not to mention, it's been washing out the parking lot. With all that rock, goes with the dirt. With the dirt,
Right.
it goes with the pavement.
Right.
And that was very expensive. $100,000 is not something we have in our pocket to
Yeah.
just splurge.
Because that even just think a curb along there would be, even just a couple inches would certainly stop more coming into your walkway or into your driveway.
A curb along
Along this edge, I guess the west edge.
where the stone culvert is?
So basically, where we're getting the
So
water flow
when
from.
you're backing trailers and stuff in,
Yeah.
you back them in towards a curb.
Yeah. So the water would basically puddle up?
Well, I guess because you got water coming. I'm thinking water coming down that hill into.
I've got.
It's coming the other way.
I got a little water coming everywhere into
Yeah.
basically it comes down the ramp from my building.
Yep.
And then I've got it coming down Wright Avenue from.
Right. That's
Actually, it doesn't come down the ramp because we have a catch basin right in the corner right there.
True. But I mean, I'm saying that,
Yeah.
there's a slight grade, right? There's a slight grade a little bit, right?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, maybe. But you got a catch basin there in the corner. You're really not getting anything off of the parking lot.
So it's basically coming down Wright Avenue.
You make this just for the length of the ramp, whatever volume that is, bleeding down onto here, and then the bulk of it, 95% of it's coming
off right outside.
from Wright Avenue side, yeah.
So the concern that I think Gage and I have, and the rest of us, I'm sure, is you back a vehicle into one of these spots, and oil drips out of the vehicle. And the rain comes off of Wright Ave, grabs that oil, it's going right in the wetlands. So a curb along the west edge traps that.
I'm not sure how much.
And then,
Yeah.
and then what?
No, that's the thing. There's,
I know
there's
that-
going to have to be
and-
some kind of some kind of sand basin or water, something. But that's now they're already so low. Where does it go? Where does it discharge to? Because by the time you,
I guess we could look at taking the 3 vehicles that are there and moving them, and then it's not a problem. Because
It's a storage facility.
I
You're gonna want to store vehicles there. That's not.
you know, I honestly, I mean, again, I look at this as this. We were actually not because of the fire department. We were forced to do this because of what we're dealing with, and we're still dealing with it, and we're already going to be, investing some sort of money, trying to continue to rectify this problem. So, I mean, I'd rather move them to the back of the building. I'd rather just move them to the back of the building.
And then you got an issue with the fire department.
No, not if I keep them against the guardrail, where those parking spaces are. Back in the day when we used to.
There may be other alternatives. We just, I'm not a PE. I'm not going to say I know what options there are out there right now to capture this kind of water. So there might be some other options. We just don't. This is not the venue for us to come up and do a design.
I understand, and the thing that we look at is we spent, like I said, a little over $100,000 building this roadway. It's going to take 35 years if every one of those parking spots were filled to recoup that investment, at least. And it'll never be full. It's not half full right now.
Yeah.
So it's costing us an extremely large sum of money already, and I'm just a little nervous that that's the direction it's going to continue to go in. So I would rather look into just removing those 3 vehicles that are there so that it's not a problem. Or perhaps we require those 3 customers and any future that have an engine to purchase something that we can find, some sort of a mat that collects anything.
But it still doesn't address any sediment and potential contaminants that's coming from the site next door onto there. And
But
then
that's a planning board issue that we've got to
then
handle
making its way
tomorrow.
down. Yeah, but
that has nothing to do with us.
if it makes it onto the pavement, it's still making it down in there.
Yeah, but that's something that they're going to have to address. That's their problem. That's their sediment. That's their sand and gravel and diesel fuel and everything else. That's.
What are we trying to approve or recommend or what's the crux?
The first thing we did was we had to go to zoning to get a waiver on the encroachment within the buffer. It was minimal, and we got a 5-0 vote on that. The second thing was they wanted Conservation Commission to look at it because it was in the aquifer district. And then lastly is planning.
It's basically just a formality at this point
It
because
is. It's a formality because, we made the changes that, the fire department asked for. This works, and between wanting to meet their needs and dealing with this site next door, this seemed the logical solution. A costly one, but it was the logical solution.
Obviously, you understand our concern. I mean, that's wetlands.
No, absolutely.
That's wetlands. That's right in the aquifer protection. I mean, that's the last thing we want to be screwing
When I
with is the
bought
aquifers.
that property, I spent 3 days cleaning that pond out.
Oh,
I pulled tires out of there, a lawnmower. 3 days trucking through the mud. That pond has never been cleaner.
Yeah.
With the
Well, that's the
exception.
thing. It's not even that pond itself. I mean, it's a pretty small
Yep.
wetland. It's really
Yep.
actually very vegetated, so there's very little water, but it's run on top of the aquifer.
Yeah.
So that's, if it connects, that's the issue.
Mhm.
I mean, all we can do is express our concerns to the planning board, and they're gonna take those into consideration. I mean, it's not, there's not really anything for us to approve or disapprove. It's already been done.
All right.
There's not really a whole lot we can, I mean, there's,
I think, honestly, I think that both myself and my abutter have a situation between the two sites, and, we need to get, some of those concerns addressed so that both sites can operate correctly. So we're kind of fighting a losing battle where we are. So.
yeah, I mean, we normally see these prior to this going in, so,
Yes.
the wetland buffers, things like that are items that we're like, just stay away from them.
Yeah.
It's, can make it easy on everybody.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, you guys, anyone have any questions? I mean, it's just, we're camel's already into the tent. So, yeah, I mean, all we can do is we can discuss, with the planning board, or make recommendations to the planning board of what we discussed tonight, and that's they're the authority, I guess, on this, what's gonna happen.
Okay.
So,
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I think ultimately, if it's going to be a showstopper, I think it'd be a wise choice for us just to take those few vehicles and relocate them. A tow-behind trailer, a storage container, these are things that aren't going to cause a problem. So.
no, those are, those aren't really, a little bit of rust.
Yeah.
Okay. But it's the items that, even the boats, so much for the most part, they don't typically leak that much.
They don't.
And
And
so-
actually, if you saw me out there, I'm a stickler. We inspect everything. So if somebody was dripping oil, there was a moving truck that dripped oil on the parking lot up at the building, and I gave him a bunch of hooting and hollering. I just, we got so much money, blood, sweat, and tears invested in that place. We hate the abuse. So I can tell you right now, not one vehicle down there is leaking anything. So there's all those RVs that are down there are brand new.
Yeah, like I said, they look pretty new.
Yeah. So, and those people are very meticulous when it comes to their RVs. It's unbelievable.
Well, that boat doesn't look like it's been in the water yet.
Yeah, he's had it in the water. Yeah.
All right, well, you guys are going tomorrow night?
Yeah.
Also?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Convenient.
Yeah. I know, right? I think they just like to see a little drama.
You should present together.
Yeah. Right. Oh boy.
Yeah, what's the order tomorrow? Do you know?
I don't know. I got to find out though, because I don't know.
Well, we have it. I'm sure we'd have it.
Yeah.
All right,
Should be a good one.
You always have public comment
Oh, I plan on.
prior to, if you're not.
Yeah. We're both going to talk. I mean, I know it's coming, so we don't have a choice. We have to get that problem resolved. I mean, it's washing out our drive, so pavement's starting to crack away. It's not going to happen.
okay, well, all right. Thank you guys for coming in, we do appreciate it. I'm sorry this had to happen this way, but,
Yeah. Me too. I am. I'm very sorry.
yeah.
Ask anybody down at community development. I always cross my T's and dot my I's, and this is just an oversight. That's why we did it. All right?
All right, thank you. You want to write that one up? Please? All right.
I have never seen a wetland study like this,
Yeah, it's not very in-depth.
and a lot of underscoring that I'd never seen before. It just doesn't seem, I guess, to be blunt, professional.
Well,
What are you looking at there?
It's a real wetland scientist. I looked him up.
Okay.
So like, yeah, they got a good website going. So, yeah, that's a difficult. That's difficult. All right. Any no questions? All right. Moving on to old business. All right. So we have the 47th NHACC convention coming up. You did register. Did you check that you were going to send a check?
Yes, we are members, right?
Yes.
Yay.
Okay.
And I did that.
So we need to get the attendance decided and get everyone registered who's going, and then we need to get that down to community development so they can cut a single check to NHACC to register us all. So if Gina's already registered, awesome.
Yeah, I'll do it soon.
Yeah.
I'm doing.
Did you see some of these courses?
I did, and unfortunately,
US Wetlands Protection
yeah,
Enforcement.
I was all excited, and I was like, "Oh, this is gonna be great! This is gonna be great!" It's my mother's 80th birthday. I will be in New York.
Oh, no.
So
I'm doing the grant one.
The 5th?
The 4th.
Well, good.
Yeah.
Yeah. 'Cause I want to do some
yeah, so
the wetland ones.
Those are the
they
three
often
I said.
the last couple of years they've had the you can go grab the packets. So if anyone would grab me a packet when they're in there.
Your packet.
If any classes you go to, grab me a packet if you wouldn't
Who
mind.
could I drive with?
You know, drive together. I mean,
Okay.
Mike loves driving.
I don't even know where Pembroke is.
My hope is to go, but I have something else that's pending around that time. It'll be a week before I know.
No.
A week before today or a week before the actual?
A week, sometime by this weekend, I should know.
Oh, okay.
Wait. If we go, can we drive in one of your cool cars? With the top down? Unless it's like this
I don't
morning.
know. It was kind of cold last year. You wouldn't know it
I
had
was
the
gonna
top down.
say, yeah, it was kind of chilly this
that
morning.
was cold.
It was.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah, that's right. It's in
raining out
November.
before
It is
before that.
November.
You went on that outdoor walk. You came back to the car. You were like blue.
I do have heated seats.
I'll be honest, those kind of creep me out.
You're going to take this one. Right?
The cooled seats are the ones that freak me out. Cooled
Cooling
seats.
Oh, yeah.
Getting grants and taking that
Oh, yeah.
one,
They
yes.
throw air conditioning through little holes in the seat so
Yeah.
you can get cooled off. Wow. Yeah. Yeah.
Have you?
It's just they think I'm sitting in water or
A
something
lot
like
of
that.
a lot of new Fords do that.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Do you think Gina needs to take the fundamental
I
course?
already signed up
She's
for
been
it,
in-
so.
I always found it worthwhile. Plus, you get a boatload of information that you might find interesting.
Yeah.
They used to give out, and I'm assuming they still do, is just kind of a booklet on what it means to be a commissioner,
Yeah.
and it was a good course. It was well done and a good course.
And then I also signed up for the conservation planning and community engagement, since I'm pretty much the only one that's on social media, so.
What an excellent choice.
Yeah, I taught the fundamentals 2 years ago, so.
Yeah.
But last year I was incapacitated, so.
They had excellent courses. I mean, it was hard to decide. I
They
just
do. The first time I was a long time ago. First time I went, and it was a little sparse, and it's been getting every year has really become professional, and I like it. I like
Good.
the day a lot. It's
Good.
great. It's a great day.
I'm looking forward to it.
So when is the cutoff for cheaper pricing? Does anyone
It's
recall?
I think
October
the
13th.
I believe.
So I know what we've done in the past, and that is we've let the members sign up into a certain day, and then we cut it off, and that becomes the check.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, we deal with a straggler, if there is one.
What's the date? Cutoff date?
So-
The 13th is the
Oh,
date
that
of
would
the
be the 13th.
you need to sign up by,
Yeah.
and that's the end of the cheaper date,
Yeah.
and then it becomes, I don't know, it's an extra $15, $20, something like that, to sign up after that point. So
So we could make a deal that says, if you let Sharon know by the 13th, then
if you register and let Sharon know by the 13th, because you have to register,
Correct.
Should I let Sharon know now, or are you gonna get a tally?
If you want to let Sharon know, that would be great. So, because I'm sure she does a better job of keeping
What do you
little
think
notes down.
that,
But you should let her know that there might be other registrations before
Yeah.
the 13th.
I will let her know that we're cutting it off on the 13th.
what
How's
do you
that?
think that OHRV use on town land, what do you think?
So the law has changed around that, so you might want to attend it to be updated with the latest change in the law that happened in the first session. So
Okay,
that's, if it interests you, you might want to look at that.
yeah.
So I move that we approve the expenditures of the NHACC conference for all members who choose to sign up from Fund 53.
Comments and discussions? All those in favor? All right, okay. So I will let Sharon know, and we're gonna put a cutoff date of the 13th. So if you want to go, sign up by the 13th and send, you get an email back with your registration?
No,
You did not?
not yet. I just registered today, so.
No, okay. Usually, I remember in the past, you get an email back with your registration.
Yeah.
If you just forward that to Sharon.
Oh, you know what? I probably did, because I haven't checked my, my Conservation Commission email, so I probably
Forward
did.
what this year?
Just so after you register, you'll get an email. You should get an email back saying you registered and here's your sign up for. Forward that to Sharon,
Okay.
and she can use that as the receipt for the check. Because that should also have the price on it.
Yeah, I think it was $55.
Yes.
Is it good? Okay.
Okay. Old business schedule, the 2017 annual Wasserman LSEP Walk. It's about that time of year.
Yeah, we were doing it in May for a few years, and
Yep.
then last year we did it in the fall, and
Yep.
something we need to get done.
The not a property anyone. I don't spend a lot of time over there, so I like doing this walk because it's.
Mm.
We just don't spend a lot of time
This
over there.
weekend?
This weekend might be tough for me, but
Okay.
if someone can go,
It's tough.
D-
For,
is it-
it's
isn't-
tough for me this
yeah.
weekend
Yeah.
too.
there's a checklist, isn't there? Wasn't there a checklist of?
Well, there is a form that has to be filled
Form,
in
right.
afterwards. So
Right.
Yeah,
Ideally-
come up with a date.
ideally, you take a GPS so you can track where you've gone, and then we can overlay that on some coordinates that we have, so we can actually drop it right on the coordinates. So that way, the state knows where we went. Steve is been very trusting that we're providing a GPS track from the actual walk. It's encouraged to cover as much of the property as possible, or at least cover areas where you can see into the property and get a good view.
Now we have some good maps. Okay,
So,
Hey.
and then they ask for just general, what did you see, what did you observe? It's something different than last year. If you recall, last year we were dealing with an encroachment on our property that has, I believe, has since been resolved.
Mhm.
So it'd be good to comment on that, since Steve is the person who actually first noticed the encroachment.
Did you do it last year?
I believe Matt did most of the
You
walk,
did. Okay.
and then he put the information together. So
Do you have a copy? Is the form the same this year as it was last year? Did the form change?
I don't think it's changed substantially. If it's changed at all, I can
Okay.
provide all those copies. So I would love to go, but this weekend doesn't work for me. So
Yeah, it can be any time.
so if we wanted to pick the following weekend, that would work for me.
Okay.
It'd be nice to get it done in the morning while the air is crisp and not disturb the whole day.
That's like the 14th, 13th, 14th.
It's the 14th and 15th.
15th.
depending on which day you pick.
Yeah,
So,
I'm, this weekend, I potentially could do it. The next 2 weekends, I'm not going to be available. It's family weekend at 2 different colleges, so.
That's right, that's
And,
that time.
the other option is to wait until the leaves are all down, and then you can see much further, and we can do it in November. I think we still have time to put the information together if we choose to do that, so. Sometime between the conference and Thanksgiving, if you wanted to do it.
The weekend of the 11th and 12th?
Of November?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's good. It's not getting too close to when I need to be packing
I
and
wouldn't
stuff
want to
like
do it
that.
the weekend before November, so the 11th and 12th.
No,
would
I won't be here.
Thanksgiving.
I won't, well, the weekend before that is the convention anyways.
Yeah, I meant, I
Actually-
wouldn't want to do it the week after, which is the week, yeah, that would be a good weekend to do it. Never
What are you
mind.
trying to say, Mike?
That's a good weekend.
So is there a preferred date, Saturday or Sunday?
The 11th is Veterans Day.
Yes.
It's being observed on the 10th, but the 11th.
Oh, okay.
And the Patriots don't play till 8:30 on Sunday, so
Saturday would be better for me.
Saturday morning.
Saturday?
I think Saturday's probably better too.
Yep.
That's Saturday, November what?
Saturday, November 11th.
Is there a limit on how many of us can go?
No.
No,
No, we
I'd
just
like-
said,
It would be great if a lot of us went.
Yeah.
but
I
if
wanna go.
more than half of us go, we'll have to.
I like,
we can agenda it.
we can agenda it. I mean, and it's just a walk. I mean, we obviously won't,
9
you
in
know,
the morning.
we don't make discussion
We'll
about,
be able to see the bench because it'll be in by then.
yeah.
And there won't be any mud.
Well, you don't know that.
Oh, I wouldn't say that. November's
I'm
one of the
being
wettest months of the
optimistic.
year.
I'm being
Be
optimistic.
prepared to walk in the rain.
Well, then I'm going to wear my old tennies, not my new
Okay.
ones.
Parking in the Wasserman lot, resident lot.
Yeah.
That's the big dirt lot.
I think we're all residents, right?
I hope so.
What time?
Are we 9 o'clock?
9 sounds good.
9:30, 9 o'clock?
Nine.
What's it work?
9
Nine?
o'clock?
9 a.m.
9 o'clock?
So the 11th.
Can advertise that as one of our monthly items?
Why are you looking at me?
Because you were going to keep the calendar up.
And we did the Wildcat and then Greater Woods, and it kind of stopped with Morcell.
Matt's so pleased with himself.
Close enough to get whacked, but Cindy's too nice to whack me.
Is she?
But I have water. It's 11 at 9.
All right. Okay. Any other questions, any comments, Elsa? We good with that? All right, new business. So Mike sent a picture out to, you sent those pictures out to everybody?
Yep.
Yeah. And of course, I was down there anyway, so I drove my car down there. And it's,
All right, that used to be flat.
it definitely used to be flatter than that, that's for
Yeah.
sure. And the driveway out to the parking area, once you get beyond the plains, is bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's badly rutted up. I mean, obviously, if it's been muddy down there or something like that, they were going through there and just romping on the gas. And
And personally, I think
yeah,
they know that we got the land down there now, and I mean, I think something's going on.
I don't know if they're being any more mischievous because it's changed hands or not. I don't know.
Is that what it's called now? Mischievous?
There's been some things in the forum about it.
I don't know if they're
I
being.
haven't seen anything.
Yeah,
yet.
I don't.
My wife saw something.
There looks to me. I mean, I've only been down there a few times. It looks to me like there's more activity. Looks like there's more roads
Yeah.
going off into the woods than there were before.
Yeah.
And
Maybe they know their days are numbered.
Well, I really, I think that.
no, I think it's similar to what we've been seeing in any of the other parcels. I mean, look at the shooting range. Oh, hey, there's a place to go shoot. Oh, there is. Okay, let's go. So I think it's one of these things like, oh, there's a place to go four-wheeling. Oh, there is. Where? Oh, okay, let's go. I wouldn't say it's really being done with spite. It's just going, oh, hey, here's an empty, muddy area that no one cares if we go up and rip
From
around
some of
it.
the comments on the forum that my wife has read to me, I think there might be some of that.
I'll look. I don't go on the regular Merrimack forum because but I will go look.
Our social media queen.
The
you
mean
are.
one. Yeah.
Well, but the forum can be overwhelming.
And incriminating.
So I think at a minimum, I think it behooves us at some point in time to go post it, and we need to either, we're going to end up losing a ton of signs like we have in the past because the minute we put up no motorized wheeled vehicles.
There's going to have to be a camera or something.
Well, it'd be nice to get concurrence from the town council that they support the same posting on the town parcel.
Yeah.
Right, I was
as
going
well
to
as
ask
our
that,
parcel.
because that road is the town, that's a town parcel, right?
Yes,
Correct.
all the way down
Yeah.
and down to the boat landing is.
Yes.
So
There's a small smidgen of
Yeah.
our property there that the road crosses.
yeah,
Yeah.
very.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
It's probably like 30 feet at the most.
Yeah, I figured that was town land. I mean,
The majority of it is.
now pretty much you need a high ground clearance vehicle to get down to that parking area at the end of where the shooting range, what do you want to call it?
Yeah, I mean that's definitely changed. I mean you can see that there's a bowl that's
Oh,
been
yes,
made.
it
So
used to
they've gotten in there and whipped around, and now it's become a bowl.
It's great.
So it's
How far are we with the town creating
not very.
okay.
Yeah, so I'm gonna push again this week to try to at least, try to get a committee going, at least to try to protect that area, I mean.
And I know we're not. We seem to be the only ones wanting to do this, so it might be worthwhile if we just go in front of town council and ask them directly.
Yeah.
Instead of trying to get group involvement, because if it's driven.
And we already know we have an abutter who wants to support
Who
our
wants to be
actions.
involved in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I got an email today from Anita Krieger, and the Historical Society would like to be involved in it,
Oh, nice.
so.
Yeah.
Which is good.
I'll appear at the next meeting that they take us.
Yeah, we can, I suppose we really shouldn't go up there as public comment, but
I'd rather get on.
yeah.
That
I'd rather it be
do some
agended
research
and be
and-
real,
yeah.
Historical meeting?
No,
Who's me?
the town council.
Town council?
Yeah, bring pictures.
Because we have some pictures from, a year or so ago, and but really to go back into those spots and try to retake those pictures, I suppose we could. We could probably for the most part, figure out where we were. We could figure out exactly where we were because I was taking pictures when I had my GPS on.
That's right.
Was I
So-
dreaming when I heard the police say something about how they would, do drive-throughs down there, or did they say that, or is that my imagination?
No, I think the comment was more they're going to be more active in some of the parcels. I don't know if they specifically spoke to that one. Did that? I don't remember that, but I may be wrong. Is that just me? No.
I'm not sure if it was particular to that one, but
Yeah.
I think in general.
I also think that we should invite Mark to attend the meeting with us.
Mm.
And to your point, I mean, the police may not know that it needs to even be patrolled. So,
Twardowski.
Twardarski,
Mhm.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
Matt construction.
No, you're right. No, I just was curious which
I
mark.
mean, I saw, when I went down there, I saw a woman out for a walk down there with her dog,
Yeah.
coming, trying to, I mean, just trash all over the place, the things, it's all rutted up.
Yeah. Well, I'm driving down that road, and you drive down, you go around the corner where it straightens out,
Yeah,
and right in front of me, 3 deer came running across towards the plains, towards where they're buzzing the plains, and those things were loud. I was really surprised how loud those were.
no,
They were cool though. Those were really cool.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
and the high,
You should have seen what they were doing. They were amazing.
I suppose then on the highlands of the Scalar property, a potential eagle nesting habitat.
I can see that, so close to the river.
Well, and it was
Yeah,
funny.
for winter.
Anita's. I'll forward you the email. I can forward it all to you, actually, to all of you. She makes some comments about knowing where the landings were. So it's going to be. This should be very helpful to have involved and
Yeah,
Yeah.
really pinpointing.
yeah, we need to
Actually,
get something going, and and Matt, the Parks and Recs pretty much told me, I mean, they're interested in ball fields.
Yeah.
Not,
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, but if we can convince their boss to tell them they're interested in this
Right.
property.
That's what I'm
they
saying.
will
It might-
be.
it's going to be a little easier if we can get it driven from top down than we trying to
Right.
get groundswell support.
Right.
So. Okay. Well, do we want to try to get in front of town council first before we try to put up any signage?
I think we have to.
Because I know it's posted, there were some postings originally on private property, no trespassing,
Right.
which the Scolars put up. And I think for the most part, I don't know if that's still there. I didn't really go I didn't
And
really
nobody
walk very
took them
far.
down unless somebody else took them down.
Yeah, because at least those are, they should be taken down because they're no longer, well, I guess it is our property. We could post it no trespassing if we wanted to, but
We could.
But, yeah, I mean, for sure,
It's-
I think our signs will go missing,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But it'll start sending the message.
yes.
Okay?
Yeah.
And it's a process. We're going to lose for a while, and we're going to win some.
because remember, if they take the signs down, they've now stolen property.
That's right. If they
So
get
that's actually an illegal. That's something
Right.
that's an offense.
Right, if they get caught with that sign in the back of their pickup truck as they're driving out, they are now receiving stolen property, all kinds of things are going on.
So there's a twofold.
Oh, yeah. You're not talking misdemeanor offense.
So
Yeah, we gotta.
it might be
At least let
worthwhile.
them know.
Yeah.
Because just this past week, there was someone inquiring about driving 4x4s
Yeah.
on the forum, and someone answered that that's the place to go.
Oh, gosh.
Oh,
All right,
geez.
so we'll have to go look there. All right, I'll go check the form.
And my wife said, I'm not on the forum, but she noticed it, and she told me, I'm like, yeah, no, don't even respond to that.
No, don't. Because there's nothing more like keyboard courage, man. It's awful.
That's the thing with the forum is,
Yeah.
I mean, for me to go on and say something, they will eat me alive.
Yep.
They will chew my bones up and they will spit me out all over the place.
And nothing that they'd say to your face.
Yeah, but as
Oh,
long
no,
as
they
you,
would.
Yeah.
They would.
well, as
they would.
as
They
long
don't
as you don't
care.
take it personally.
Yeah.
They don't care because there are certain people that own that forum, and I just don't go on it anymore because they don't care.
Yeah.
They say what's on their mind and they don't care.
Which is why there was a second forum made.
That's why there's a second forum, and
The
I
positive
tend to
forum.
go on that one. So
Isn't that the one I'm talking about?
no, there's two forums.
There's
I
two.
thought my wife is, I'll have to ask her.
Well, there's
There's
a
the
Merrimack
forum.
forum, and then there's the
The positive. forum.
positive
I
forum.
thought it was the positive one.
Yeah, well, that one's not visible unless you're a member, correct?
Both of them. Well, I don't know. The first one might be visible to everybody.
I think the first one is visible to everybody.
Yes, but the
And
positive one is
second
not.
one is not. The second one, you have, once you get in, if you're not positive, you're
Yeah,
out.
they
So
actually moderate that one.
They do moderate, and people will complain about things that are not, if people are mean to other people on it, they're out, so
Yeah.
they're blocked.
He kicks him off,
Which, I mean,
which is all right.
there is an awful lot of drama on the forum, which is why I don't go
In
on.
in that area, I mean, isn't there destruction, degradation of wetlands? I mean, it's
Yeah,
floodplain.
yes, yep.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's going,
But the chance of getting the police to enforce that, I mean, that's not, that's not really what they know.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
as
Here.
someone with a stolen piece of property, they can deal with that.
Yeah.
You know, we're gonna have to be better off get DES to go look at the other one.
So if they find a vehicle in the pond because it broke down, then it's
Yeah,
kind of
that's
obvious,
right.
okay? All right.
Yeah.
So there is hunting on Scar?
I believe so.
Let's
Or-
put it this way: there are no
There-
hunting signs.
All right. So you
There's-
can
we-
hunt with gun and you can
Was it-
hunt with bow
No.
and arrow?
Was there some kind of
No.
discharge?
No, we
discharge?
changed the deed.
Right.
We changed that deed.
Okay.
There's no discharge, right?
No discharge of air-powered weapons or air powder-powered weapons. We said no.
Don't have it in front of me, don't recall.
All right.
I don't know if
'Cause-
we ruled out bow.
Yeah, because I was going to say,
don't think-
isn't it deer archery season right now?
Yes,
It is.
Excellent point.
it's
Before
not
we-
posted.
Yeah.
Okay.
That property is not posted.
Correct.
Just in general, if anyone's listening, it is hunting season. Where you're, thank you very much. Your hunter's orange when you're out there in the trees in the woods walking.
I think I posted in the
Yeah,
positive
put
form to
put
wear
items in your
orange.
animals when you're walking your animals. Put them
Yeah.
orange vest on them.
Yeah, and I linked to where you can buy orange vests, like, you know.
Yep.
Not necessarily giving anyone, I said if you go to sports stores or blah, 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 you can find the orange vest. Because I think a lot of people don't realize your dog should be wearing orange vest too.
Yep. Absolutely.
Mhm.
But I mean, you all remember when we drove down that road to look at the land, and when I showed you guys the land down there. I mean, there was no problem driving down that road,
Mm-mm.
right? And you saw the pictures. It's not the same at all. The pictures don't do it justice.
Yeah. I got my car down there and back, but I
You
was
gotta watch it.
I was going very slow and going. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go. I'll be able to make it through this hole, but it's like, you know, going really slow so you don't get any compression on your suspension because there's no way I was gonna make it through it. So it's become bad.
I mean, it's too bad we can't just completely close it for now, you know, until we get things
Like a
set
day.
up. And
It's
just,
I
but-
don't think anyone's using that boat ramp. If the town wanted to close that
Yeah.
road, they could.
Oh.
I don't think anyone would really know.
But I don't think that the people that are doing the damage are coming in on the roads. They're coming in little sideways things.
No, they're probably coming through that hole.
They're coming through. They got to go through the
They're
bridge.
coming through the arch anyway.
Or they're coming over from the New England telephone pole or company or Patterson property that's to the north of
Yeah,
us.
because that's where I've seen. That's where I saw seemingly some new roads going in that direction.
So north of us, that property is also not very well monitored and stuff like that, so.
Yeah.
And that comes in off of Wright Avenue, which we were discussing earlier
Mm-hmm.
today.
Yeah. So,
Hmm.
but the nice thing about the private landowners, you sometimes can go to them and say, you have people trespassing your property, accessing this, you know, it's going to become an issue, and they're like, oh, okay, fine, we'll put a gate up, we'll put a fence, I'll put some, because all those people that have adjoining property have access to, you know, cement barriers or whatever they want, and they can put stuff up to block access paths if they want.
They want, yeah.
So we can go down that road too.
Let's.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think we're gonna have to try
You got
as much as we
you have to
can.
kind of figure out where they're going,
Mm.
which means going down there and backtracking, see which way you can come out in there. Would be a good ride.
So we want to get on the town council agenda?
Yeah, they meet what Tuesdays?
There's
Thursdays. Well, planning board's Tuesdays. Yeah, so and you have to have, I think it's 7 days or something like that. So we wouldn't be on for,
I think they meet. They don't meet our Thursday. They meet the one after it.
yeah, so that we could get,
So we could get on.
we should be able to get on the next one,
12th.
on the 12th, yeah.
Oh, okay. I might not be around that day, but you guys, go ahead without me.
Yeah, I won't be around.
In fact, I won't be around that day.
No, we can look at it and
Yeah.
figure out when we can go. All right. We have any other comments, questions about this? Okay. Subcommittee updates. For committees that have had meetings since our last. I think Greater Woods, was the only one, right? I think, yeah, Greater Woods was the,
Oh. Yeah, we have one.
Yeah.
We have a meeting a week from tonight
okay.
in this room at 7:00.
Yeah, the Greater Woods meeting, we set up our next meeting to be a working meeting. So we will be setting up an agenda for that meeting because we possibly could have quorum, the 28th of October.
8:30 in the morning.
8:30, and we're going to meet off of Conservation cul-de-sac. We're going to do a little work in there, removing some of the old silt fence from the road install project that is just now laying on the ground. So we're going to remove that and do a little restoration work in that area. To get it.
See if we can replace the silt fence with some vertical mulch. That's famous phrase.
Oh, vertical mulch. Yes, right.
That's it. And I think we spoke about it already, but the classroom bridge is complete and in use.
Yep.
Many little and big feet going over the bridge, and we're waiting on the scout to complete the classroom.
Is that started?
No, we're kind of waiting to hear if he's going to be able to do it this fall. His plan was to do it this fall.
Yeah.
But we haven't really heard. So.
So the existing classroom is getting some use. The benches have been moved into a little semicircle. There's a fire pit in the middle of it now.
Oh.
So
Used by
it's
who?
whoever wants to go up there and start fire.
Oh, jeez.
So it's become a little bit more. We're hoping he gets going soon because it needs to get done.
No, we're gonna have to go out there and just
Yeah.
remove what's there, just so it doesn't keep going the way it is.
Okay. I think that's
That's about it, though.
about it. I did put on here the maps. Obviously, I have the maps. We have 4 boxes. We got 1,000 of each.
Nice.
Okay.
Nice.
I have 500 of each here. I have the hard kiosk maps also at my house. I just didn't bring them because
I noticed those in your back seat in the picture.
yeah, they're in my they're in my house now. They're about a 1/4 inch thick, and it's pretty solid material. You can get a push pin through it, but it needs to be kind of long. So I'm not sure how we want to mount them, but I think that as long as we got cork or something to put them on.
I hope we don't have a depth problem.
Well, they're a 1/4 inch, and I don't think we've got anything that's. I was trying to think of some of the kiosks. I don't think there are anything that are that.
Okay.
That I don't think we're gonna have an issue. We shouldn't. If not, I'd rather I'd like to redo the kiosk than change those signs. So these were printed at by Paper Graphics for as a contribution to the Concom. We did pay for the hard ones. They were a little bit more expensive. The material that printed on them. So it's a first try. We'll see it. If we like it, maybe we can figure something else. If we can figure out maybe a thinner material or something else. But this is what they had, and they look great. So
Is there a time or a date where those are going to be available online? The new maps?
Well, now that I know that we're going to put them out, then yes, I will update the website this week.
Do we want to work on that press release now? Now that we have the maps, we had pushed that aside. So
Yeah, now's the time to release the press.
okay, so who do I release it to?
What I would do is I would send the words to Sharon and ask Sharon to do a press release to all the normal things she does, which includes newspapers and organizations, about this. I can tell you, though, I won't have the website updated before Thursday.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So the journal doesn't, I mean, it would probably not go in the Merrimack Journal
But
until,
yeah, right, it wouldn't.
A week.
It won't, the
all
newspapers
right.
will catch up, in a little bit, so.
okay.
You could
Close
also
enough.
post it on the Facebook pages if you chose to do that, too.
Okay. All right, I'll wait until
Friday.
Friday.
We'll do a blitzkrieg.
Sorry?
Then blitzkrieg.
So will you send me the PDFs of the actual map with all the right
Oh, yeah.
recognitions?
Yes.
I don't have those. I don't have the paper graphic versions.
I can do that. The ones that they say printed courtesy of Papergraph or something like that. The ones that people print off their own machines will be printed by Papergraphics.
That's true,
Oh, right.
but it'll still acknowledge paper graphics contribution.
Absolutely. So I can send you the proofs.
Yeah.
And the nice, I guess the good thing about it too is these are, as we talked about, a little bit different than the original proof that we looked at. Sorry. Yeah, so these are a little different than the proofs we looked at. The extra border was gone, and they did add a little bit of white space around some of the wording so it would fit. So these are
Oh, beautiful.
they're awesome.
Really nice.
So yeah, so that I will send you those proofs,
Okay, that'd be great.
and then we can have
Could I,
everyone printing the same exact thing. Yes.
can I take, because one of the things that Karen from the Wildcat Falls Subcommittee asked is if I could get some maps. So can I take some tonight?
Yes,
and
that's why I
return?
brought them all here. I figured we can kind of divvy up and people can take what they
Thanks.
feel they can distribute and have some spare.
Do all the kiosks have map holder? I don't think.
I was thinking about that this morning. Brush my teeth. I'm like, we're gonna put these where? Because like Greater Woods, I know the one Conservation Drive has got a mailbox. The school's got a mailbox.
I don't think
The-
BB does.
I don't think BB
Yeah,
does. Does it?
Does?
I'm at the school on Wednesday, so if you want to give me a handful of Greater Woods, I can put them up there.
I'll be there tomorrow morning.
Oh, okay.
I can put them in the, I'll put them
Oh,
in the,
yeah, well,
I
I'm
live across the
stopping on the
street,
way
so-
home at Horse Hill.
I'll put some in the BB tomorrow morning.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I mean we're gonna have to maybe go through and get a couple mailboxes if we can. I was wondering if there'd be maybe some way we can, I don't know, try to encourage people to return them.
Recycle
You need 2 boxes and return here.
So,
Try and use maps here,
so the Wildcat Falls has a little note above it that says, "Please return,"
or
Yeah.
something along those
Yeah,
words.
just a please return when you're done. And they can be.
absolutely.
I mean, I'm obviously we printed 1,000 of them. I'm expecting to have to print more at some point in time, but they're not. They were free, obviously, but they're not free. I mean,
Right.
at some point in time, we're going to be paying to do these, and at some point in time, it's going to be. I don't want to have to keep paying to have people take it, throw it away.
Right.
So it'd be nice if we could just get a little. Please return.
Well, that's the whole idea. With a conservation commission, we need to conserve more than just land. We need to conserve the resources too.
Yes, but trees are a crop.
To you, maybe.
Yeah, that's right.
Not to me.
Yeah. And the energy it takes to produce
Are.
those.
They're a magical thing of beauty.
They are.
So did you get a chance to read Karen's email to
I
us?
did. I will. I would.
But you don't have to read the email to us here. Just, there's a few items she'd like us to address, if we could.
Yes. Well, that's one of the
This
things was.
Subcommittee.
Subcommittee update.
Okay.
Yes. Would you like that now?
Yeah.
Are we ready? Okay, so we talked about the maps. She asked if I could get some more maps. The second thing is we're talking about Mrs. Osman's request to put a memorial bench
Mm-hmm.
for her 2 sons. So we've been in touch. You have talked to Rivet,
Yes.
and I have talked to Rivet and let them know that when they're ready, I can open the gate for them.
Mm-hmm.
I talked to Mrs. Osmond today and let her know that you have talked to Rivet and I have talked to Rivet, and we're ready to go. So she's happy about that.
Okay.
Rivet has said that it will be a little while before the bench is ready. So when they're ready to go, we're good to go. What else did Karen say? Come on.
So their intent is to 2 legs and epoxy the legs to the top, and that's going to be the bench. He's had bad luck with trying to put bolts, standing bolts up into it to hold it in place, because people start pushing on them and it flakes off a big chunk of granite and does more damage than it would just to be to stand it back up. So
2 legs and epoxy the bench to the legs.
Yeah.
Okay.
because at that point in time it'll be 500-600 pounds
Yeah.
and should be relatively solid marker.
Okay.
But
Funny story here. Not really, and probably TMI, but just so you know. And he did survive the fall without breaking anything, but my 94-year-old father-in-law fell down the stairs, landed on a granite bench, and knocked the bench off. Came out of it with just a cut ear and a cut finger. Pretty amazing. But those things do come off.
oh yeah, I'm sure. But I spoke to him. I said, look, we want it to be a contiguous piece.
Mm-hmm.
It can't be pieces and parts people can lift and move. And so he said he's got epoxy. Says works well with stone. All right.
Okay, and I'm going to ask you, and I should ask Mrs. Osmond too, but are we going to have some sort of ceremony to go along with this, or will there be anything to commemorate this, or do they just bring it and,
We have not in the past that I know of done anything for any.
Okay.
I mean, obviously we can.
All right. Well, I'll be there when it goes in.
This is their bench.
Okay.
And if they'd like to do something out there, it's
Okay.
obviously.
I just wasn't
please
sure what
go, feel free.
Okay, I wasn't sure what the protocol was, so I will let her know that.
Yeah.
Okay. The other thing that Karen said was, okay, she's talking about the DPW.
Yep.
Is willing to work to dig 3 ditches for the water bars to prevent future erosion along the Connector 1 road emergency access road leading into the property. So Lori from DPW said that the department will be happy to deliver materials and dig those 3 ditches.
1 yard of material.
Pardon me?
They're going to deliver a yard of material.
No, this is different.
This is something different.
This is not just the picnic area?
Right. Okay, I'm reading what
Okay.
she said, and we can work it out after. So Lori from DPW said the department will be happy to deliver materials and dig the 3 ditches, water bars for us, but we need to submit an agenda form, order form materials to the MCC for approval first. The amount we need of materials we need for those trenches is 360 cubic feet. Each trench is 2 feet deep by 3 feet wide by 20 feet long, which equals 360 cubic feet. The outstanding question is, what specific types of materials do we need to request from the MCC to approve in order to construct these water bar trenches 3-inch/6-inch?
Well, we have our own little PIF, project initiation form, just a little, that, I don't see why we couldn't use that. I mean, is that,
Project initiation form?
yeah, that's what we've been using in the past to mark these things up. I'll have to,
Who has
I
it?
believe it went down to community development the last time we made that list. We made a form up for it so anybody could have it. But that was before Sharon was down there, so I'm assuming that she has access to everything that was down there before,
All
but we
right,
can.
so ask Sharon.
We can find it.
I think I have a blank.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
Matt generated it to
Yeah.
begin with.
Yeah, you did, and then we changed a couple things and made it a PDF so they could email it out to people or they could just print it.
I think I have it.
Yeah, okay.
And I can send it to this group.
Okay.
Do you have the one we redid?
I believe so.
So
I'll check it against the last one that was submitted to us to make sure.
But Sharon may be able to have it.
Okay.
Because that's what we started to do a while ago, was try to get everything that was like items like that
Thank you.
down to community development. So if someone came in looking for something, they can go to one person and get everything.
Okay.
So the question is they don't know what material to use. They're asking us what's the right material to input in these issues.
4+.
Yeah, because you're gonna, anything small is gonna get filled back up with sand and then be not,
4+ is something you can still walk on.
Yep.
But
it's only 6 inches wide, you said, right?
2 feet wide by
Oh.
3 feet deep.
2 feet deep by 3 feet wide by 20 feet long.
Okay. You want to say it that way? I just said it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
We need 3 of them?
I marked a spot for one. Maybe she thinks they need 2 more.
What are these used for?
Water bars.
Oh, okay.
It's a volume issue
Correct, yeah.
because it's traveling so far. Before the pitch changes and gets steeper,
Yeah.
there's so much volume. And I think if we divert it there, there's a great place for it to go. And, you know, after that, I think it's going to stabilize the rest of that hill. There's just going to be nothing, you know, not a lot of volume coming down. But it's coming from the landing all the way down. So we just need to stop it before it hits the pitch that's very sandy.
We've got some severe ruts.
Yep.
They're 6, 7 inches deep now. And they're a couple inches wide, and they run for a good distance now, so.
From water flow?
Water flow, yeah. And now we're below the crusty stuff. We're now in the soft sand. So it's really, every time it rains hard, it's just carrying a lot of material out of there now.
So, you guys have looked at this?
Yeah.
The water bars, are there where Lori believes they're gonna be put?
I don't know. I think the project has to come with a map to describe.
Okay, yeah, I wanna make sure we get this whole thing.
I tried to get this whole thing.
Okay.
But I don't think it got here that way.
Yeah.
Okay.
I marked it out, went out there, she took pictures, but that didn't make it here. So this form needs to be filled out. And
Yep.
I think maybe, you know, Tim and I have seen it. Nobody else needs to go out and look at it. I think, you know, where we walked and looked at the water bar area, there's a couple of big trees right after it. So the water, you know, you're going to stop the water. Big trees are going to, you know, be there to protect that area. And getting up to that area, it's really more of a emergency access trail than it is a walking trail. A lot of people are walking the trail below it. But a lot of the material from this access road is now down where people are walking. It's very sandy and silty down in the main trail where people are walking.
Because of this.
The trail that goes up to the landing it's an emergency vehicle access. I mean, it's 20 feet wide. And because it's cut 20 feet wide,
that's why,
and there's no drainage on either side, all the water comes down the hill.
Right.
Okay.
So the emergency access road is what needs to be fixed. I don't see why it's coming out of the MCC budget.
So the road from the parking lot to the river is managed by wastewater, and they maintain it.
Yep.
Everything else is
Ours.
falls under us.
Okay, well, if it's ours, then we probably should fix this area.
Are you guys in agreement as to where the water bar should go?
I didn't look at his write-up. I would have thought 2 myself, but yeah.
But one higher, you've got one higher towards the start of this thing, and then one lower in the road halfway down type of thing.
Yeah, right before the roads come together and you get that round the corner, I think there probably should be another one to capture any water just to stop it.
And if we do it there,
Yeah.
we're gonna have to then do another one.
That's the
Below it.
worry, and that becomes the town lot. So
Yeah.
the town
So-
road. So
If we do more than one, we're going to be affecting the trail
yeah,
that is
you're right.
the town's trail.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
But particularly where you're talking about washing sand down, you're putting a stone ford in. There's no other, you know, whatever you want to call it. It's a stone ford. It's going to fill up because you look at this. You coming out of before you get to Wildlife Opening 1 in Greater Woods, that is a stone ford right there, and it's I mean, it used to be large rock.
Mhm.
I don't know if you remember trying to ride across them, and it was tricky. It was
Yeah.
unstable. It was big. It was big pieces of rock. And you're talking, 8, 9 plus, and you can't even tell it's there now. And it's just from sand coming down the hill.
Mhm.
So I mean, I'm sure it's still. There's still water going through it, obviously, because you can see the water on both sides. But it's
Yeah.
when you get downhill of that and a ford like that, we're gonna fill it up with sand pretty quick. So I'm just.
Mhm.
I don't want this to become a yearly thing, having to go dig that out and wash stone and put it back in. That'll happen once, and then that's I'm not doing it again.
Well, the other option is to take a corrugated and have it with a netting all the way around it, so the big stuff can't get in it. It grunts down, it hits it, and then it travels through the pipe and gets directed out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get a couple of years out of it.
So the question she's asking is what specific types of material do we need in order to construct the water bar trenches?
Say 4 plus crushed.
Yeah, I guess we need to write the project up
Yeah.
a little more well-defined.
Okay.
It's nothing against Karen. This is just all new, so we'll have to do that.
So do we want to get the project initiation form and work on that at the next meeting, or what should I tell her?
Yeah, it should be done at the next Wildcat meeting.
Okay.
And it could be agended for, if the Wildcat meeting, that meeting might not happen in October, though.
Well, it's not, and she said she's not available until,
Right. Yep, it is what it is.
yeah, I
Right.
thought the next meeting was in November, wasn't it? Okay. All
It's
right.
what it is.
All right, so I will tell her that we don't have an answer for her right now. We're just going to have to table it for now. All right.
Has the gravel for the picnic area been?
No.
That's what she wanted to know from you. Do you have an update on that?
Okay, so, yeah, Lori, I'm sorry, I thought I got back to you about that, Gina, I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay.
Yes, she said they can deliver a yard,
Oh, okay,
and that won't be an issue. They just need to coordinate the gate.
okay.
Yeah, they can get in there the delivery company needs a gate access.
Well, if they deliver the stone, I think it's probably going to be the town delivering the stone.
Right.
Well, the town can get through the gate.
Okay.
They have the number.
I've given it to her before. I'm just a matter of
Mhm.
probably reminding her what it is. So.
Yep.
Will the
But-
town know exactly where to put it, or do we need to give them specific?
I think we should help them.
Yep.
Okay,
Someone should go flag it,
Stake it off or something.
put a stake in it. Just to be clear,
Yeah.
it's always better.
okay.
And I can do that on Friday if it needed to be done. Just need to know I have to do it. Or Andrew could do it if he had time. Andrew on the subcommittee.
Oh, Andrew, okay. Okay, well, I'll copy Andrew on that. All right, and then as far as you're communicating with Lori now, so do you want to let her know that we'll flag that and that they can
Sure.
deliver it next week?
Why don't
Okay.
you, wonder if you could verify with me Friday that you got it flagged off,
Okay,
and then we can tell her that it's ready to go. She has a general idea. They have a general idea where it was going,
Yeah.
so they'll know where the flags are.
Yeah,
Or know where to go look for the flags.
yeah, it's right across from the detention pond.
Right.
So if you're,
Well, where across the detention?
that's why it needs to be flagged.
That's what I'm saying. But
Right.
there's
It's probably about midway, to be honest with you.
yeah. It's like
Well,
because it
or
gets
not
because
even
right initially there's the road that comes down and joins, and then you
So leaving the parking lot.
Yeah.
Once you get past the culvert, there's a little culvert that joins the wetland to the
Yep.
detention pond. There's, another 10 yards, there's a small trail to
Yeah.
the left, correct? Yeah? Wrong map? That's the wrong map.
Yeah.
That also was a W.
If you can find that on that map.
All right, so go on.
So there's a small trail that you immediately come across on your left.
Yep.
After you get past the culvert,
Mm-hmm.
and then you go much further. There is this larger access emergency road, which
Yep.
has the post on it. In between the two of them, probably about midway, is the spot.
But Andrew knows where it is.
Oh yeah, he's the one who picked it.
All right, then I'm going to tell Andrew, flag it, and message me, and I'll message you,
Great.
and we're good to go.
Yeah,
Okay.
flag it. Tell us what type of flag it is, so there's
Okay.
no mistake. Right? If we're looking for an orange flag, we'll know to look for an orange one. If it's a purple one or yellow one.
A great thing to him, the flag would be the boundaries,
Oh, okay.
you know, and they can dump it right in the center of it.
Yeah, if he's not able, then let me know, and I'll make a venture. I'll take a trip out there Friday morning.
Okay.
So he puts one flag in and they dump it on the wrong side of the flag. You know,
Which is more work for the volunteers.
yeah. So put at least 2 flags in and they'll dump between it.
Okay, 2 flags. Gotcha.
We'll find stakes, because all that's packed. That's all right. Not a big deal.
All right.
That won't be hard. There's Tractor Supply.
What do you need?
Couple of stakes to flag it, maybe. I'll find something.
I have it in my truck.
So, while we're here,
Or trunk.
do you want me to update real quick on the Girl Scouts?
Sure.
Okay. So the Girl Scouts worked on the 2 bridges, which was the, Link, and what was the other one? 'Cause now-
Brickyard.
Well, I thought Brickyard and Ridge weren't done.
They did Brickyard. They did.
I
They
thought
didn't
they
do the
did
ridge.
Ballpark.
I
I thought they
did-
did,
Brickyard.
I was gonna say, I thought they did Ballpark and,
They did Link
Link.
and soccer field.
Ballfield.
Ballfield.
Ballfield Bridge.
Ballfield and Link. And then Brickyard and Ridge were not done. So those are the 2. They are not going to do them because they
You
did
did-
run out of
you
time.
Which one you said you did?
So 4 boards were broken on Brickyard.
Right. So we went up and
Right.
that's the one we went up and took care of. So, but you didn't do any more than that.
No.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So, they stopped at my house the other day and I signed off on the final approval.
Okay.
And all they need from you now is just a statement that they can put in their press release, very short.
This is thank you.
Yes.
We can do that.
Okay. And we thank them very much. They did a wonderful job. So, that was a lot of work.
Yeah, hopefully
And they did a
this
great
encourages
job
them
on
to
it.
do some more.
Well, they seem like they're excited, and there's a lot of Girl Scouts in town, and
Yep.
I think now that now they know they are more than welcome in the Conservation Commission properties. We would love to have them.
I think they should show up, the boys.
Yeah,
Mm.
get a little rivalry going.
That would work. So, okay, and I think that's all there is.
Beyond that, it gets their families and other people involved to form a love for the property. So I think it's a great thing.
Mhm.
Well, apparently there was one dad that wanted to help, and they were like, no, we'll let you know what we need. Other than that, we're doing it. We got it.
Good for them.
Yeah.
They did use his tools, though.
They did, but that's pretty much it.
That being said, so we have 2 new deck bridges now.
Yeah.
The other 2,
Yeah.
Gage, myself, and one of the other subcommittee members fixed 4 that were broken.
There's a lot more on the way.
There's a lot more that are very close to being broken.
Yeah.
Is this something we should fill out one of those forms for? And
I suppose probably because it's going to be more. It's going to be if we try to do both those bridges.
yeah, it's going to be substantial.
Yeah.
Is there still, by the gravel pile wildlife opening 1, is there still pressure treated lumber there?
No, that was the old sort of bad boards from the lumber project 12 years ago.
Oh, but there was pressure, I'm talking about the pressure treated.
There are a couple of pressure treated
What's that? They
pieces. You know, we could probably.
might be able to get one bridge done.
Yeah,
Might be able to get the Brickyard Bridge done.
sure. Yeah, let's.
So that's been there for a while now.
Yeah.
Might as well use them.
Nice and weathered. It'll blend right in now.
It will blend right in. It's sitting on rocks,
Yeah.
so it's off. The
It's
ground.
elevated.
It's
Yeah.
sunny. It's sunny there.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah, we can go look at that. But the ridge bridge is, you know, I guess if we're just going to retread it, because all we do need to do is get some of that material down there too to make a little bit of a ramp. Yeah, did you make a ramp on the Classroom Bridge on the end?
No.
Someone did. The lumber that we left over in the muck. The short pieces that were from the original that people were stepping on are now at the end, and there's a ramp. Kind of defeats our purpose of keeping stuff to wash under the bridge, but
Not me.
yeah, all right. All right. Any more subcommittee?
So I just remembered that you had sent out an email. We had the discussion
Yes.
at our last meeting
Thank you.
about the.
Yep.
Yeah, I just thought about it, so I didn't know if with the maintenance.
So the town, they did get back to me and they said, look, you know, there is precedence of doing this in the past. And we have as a committee, not this committee, but we have as MCC have repaired things for people that were volunteering for us. Usually it happens in a little bit more of a staged approach, like, hey, this is the job that we will be doing, and we know about it prior to, and make up the caveat that, okay, you know, if something happens, this is a one-time expense that we can, you know, we'll look into refunding, repairing, whatever. So that precedent has been set and is something that they are comfortable with us doing. So that being said, I don't know where Peter stands now. I've not.
I don't know either.
I don't know where we stand with that.
I can ask him
I
if
mean,
he's
we
done
can-
anything.
Last I spoke with him, he hadn't. This was again a week or so ago. He hadn't got anything fixed yet. So, if you want to reach out to him, or I can, doesn't matter. That we can certainly find out. I mean, we have pricing from him, so we could, I suppose, vote now if we wanted to, if we were so inclined to, a not to exceed figure, to allow him to get the unit, get the mower
Fixed and
fixed.
back to.
It's $280, something like that, or $300 to get it completely repaired. And he said we wouldn't mind going to a local guy.
Yeah, it's in the minutes.
Oh, that's right. He was gonna. Yeah.
Local guy would probably get it. It's probably going to be cheaper. I can't. You know, it's if it was running and doing fine, and now all of a sudden it's not. It's, you know, 99% it's just going to be some crap in the carburetor, and they're going to take it apart and tune it up, and that'll be the end of it. So, does that alleviate everyone's concerns as to moving forward and doing something like this?
So we would reimburse them, but this would be like just a one-time
It's
thing.
a one-time thing. I mean, this is someone, you know, again, as we know, the owner of the equipment has dedicated a tremendous amount of time to the town, and to the agriculture and to the MCC. We have a volunteer who's using, you know, his own time to go use this machine and get work done. So I feel very strongly we should be supporting people that do this. I mean, and it was difficult last time to tell them no, or just wait, let us try to find out. But it's to me it's a slippery slope, because now we get into, you know, where do we draw the line?
Or supposedly this is the line after him. It's
Well, right, but I'm saying, you know, have you been up in Greater Woods in the last couple of days?
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen, is the
Yeah,
they
it's
mowed?
all done.
It's mowed.
Is that the town?
No, That's another volunteer.
Oh.
Yeah, 'cause
That's
I
another
noticed
volunteer that's driving. He's got his own tractor and he's driving down through there and he's
Wow.
clearing it for us.
And there was a woman that said,
that. Nice.
I'm so happy that you guys did this, assuming that
Yeah.
I did it because she's seen me in there before. And she said, now I can walk this trail again with my dog.
Yeah.
I wasn't walking it because I was scared to walk it, because, you know, it was really, you were growing.
He was grown in.
It was growing
Yeah,
in.
it
You
was-
could
it was
could
time.
touch plants on either side,
Yep.
and she just didn't feel comfortable walking her dog where something could have popped out. And, you know,
Well,
now that it's all mowed back, she said, I can walk this loop again.
That was
I'm
done by
very
David
happy."
House.
Yeah.
He's one of the landowners that we have to go talk to about because the Castor Trail is going to cross over his property, and he's been for a long time saying, "Hey, let me know when I can go in there." I was like, "Dave, you go ahead. You know, just let me know when you're
That's
there,
great.
and then we can know." So he's got a
Yeah,
sickle
that's
bar
nice.
tractor, so he can go through some pretty good size stuff. He did ask me though if someone else had been up there mowing because it looks like someone went through there with a brush hog.
I did.
Was that you?
Yeah.
Was it a brush hog?
No.
Was it your scream trimmer? Wow, he was impressed. He's like, there's no way that was a string trimmer. I'm like, Matt's the only other person I would know will be up here with anything.
It's licorice.
Yeah. He said, well,
It's not a string.
he's like, it looks like it's been mulched. I'm like, well,
There's some nice attachments you can put on them. I used in my old property.
yeah.
It's
Beaver blade.
little plastic yeah, they
Yeah.
got little teeth in them, and boy, they can go through saplings and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was maintaining a trail on my old property with that.
Don't hit
Pretty
your leg with
nasty
that.
stuff.
Oh.
It's a
Oh,
log
you
roller,
tried it?
you know?
Yeah, there you
Yeah.
go.
No,
Yeah.
Okay.
Then we go back to the severed foot.
It's only dangerous if you're in front of it.
Yeah, I wore a full mask and shield because it throws stuff everywhere.
Welder's helmet
Yes.
is about the only thing that you can wear that's not going to get.
Yeah, I mean, you can
Yeah.
see, right? I mean, this is something done by volunteers
Yeah,
you're talking
I
about.
mean, and that's exactly what we talked about when Peter was here. Is that, you know, there's people willing to do a whole hell of a lot of work. It's hard not to support them.
All right. So
So-
with the risk of being unpopular with anybody, I am going to make a motion.
Why would you think it's being unpopular?
Because I know not everybody is in agreement, so. All right, I am going to make a motion. Help me out if I make this wrong. I'm going to make a motion that the Conservation Commission reimburses Peter,
Patrol truck.
thank you, Mikolajchuk, for the amount, was it 240 or not to exceed 300?
Not to exceed 300.
Not to exceed 300 to repair and service the equipment that he has been using to maintain Horse Hill Nature Preserve. And that would come from Fund
The-
53.
One correction is
Okay.
he's been doing more than just Horse Hill.
Okay, so
Right.
Right. So he's using to maintain trails, period.
to
So,
maintain
Yep.
Conservation Commission properties.
and that would come out of Fund 53. You said,
That will
right?
come out of Fund 53.
Second.
Cindy seconds. Any other comments and questions?
I just think we need to be upfront with people and say that that should not be the expectation, and if it is, then
Yeah.
please come before us before you use your equipment to let us just decide.
Yes.
Right.
That should go into the motion as this is a one-time deal and will not be repeated with anyone else.
Well,
Or will not
this
likely
is
be
going to be
repeated.
taken on a per case basis, and certainly, like Tim said, we upfront. We need to be getting out in front of these and finding out.
Yeah.
This is a potential.
Okay,
So
is that fair?
If not, it's use your equipment at your own risk.
Okay.
Yep. we appreciate it, but take your own risk. Okay. Any other questions, comments? All those in favor? Aye. All right. Passes 600. Nice.
Because if someone came to us, I would ask general questions about the condition of the equipment before it gets used. The
And that's
age,
That's
last
fair.
time it was serviced,
Yeah.
that kind of stuff.
Yeah. That's absolutely fair, because it's a lot of money to shell out for,
Yep.
you know,
And if you remember, Peter did get quite a bit of work done with this before it broke down.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't like he'd been out there and mowed, a couple stripes and then all of a sudden the thing failed.
Well, and it also sounds like once it's serviced and is working again, that he will be allowed to use it in
Yep.
the future too, which is a good investment on our part, so.
Yes.
Well, I don't know. We're going to get it fixed so we can go back, I think. Because if not, I don't know, 6 months, it might need servicing again.
Right.
But we're saying we're not approving that, correct?
No, we're not approving the future service. Right now,
Okay.
we're saying, look, it's we're going to ask people you're using equipment at your own risk. I mean, on a case-by-case basis, if something,
Yeah. And
Something
since this
fails
isn't his equipment, I think
Yeah.
that's what kind of muddied a little bit in this particular situation. So.
Thanks for doing the research.
yes,
Yeah, thank
I
you.
mean, it
I
would,
think it's worthwhile.
it would be I mean, I know they're busy, but it would be great if we could get the town more involved.
Yeah.
Yes, that's
Mhm.
going to be an ongoing discussion. That's going to take a little bit more time to solve. So,
I just think that we need the town to hire a full-time police officer and a full-time DPW worker just to help us out here.
I second that.
Is that too much to ask?
you
Jeez.
want to put that warrant together, that article together, so look at the tax rate and get that up past
I'm
the
going to go
budget
talk to
committee.
the town council.
Okay. We, anything else to add? We can go into the minutes. We good to go into minutes? Are we good to go into minutes? Did anyone get a chance to review them?
Gina did.
Did you?
No.
Okay, I did.
Oh, one thing.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes with Gina's corrections.
Second.
Walkie dog.
Okay, Gina, fire away.
All right, so this is more of a question on page 4, line 32. What's a pole Ford?
Yeah, is that spelled right?
FJORD.
I believe it's just Ford, F-O-R-D.
Okay, so we don't need the word pole in front of it?
No, pole is correct, because
Okay.
there's pole Fords and stone Fords
All
and,
right, so it should just be F-O-R-D?
And I don't know.
That's what I thought it was.
I think that a fjord is
fjord is a
Bunch of water in
Right.
in water
Norway.
in deep lake. Yeah.
I was gonna say we did saw those in Alaska.
Yeah,
Oops, that's not what I'm looking for here.
So do you know what a pole,
frozen.
Yeah, frozen.
So,
right.
do you know what a pole Ford is? Would you?
No, I don't.
So, these became more popular with logging operations, where water was crossing where they wanted to have a road. They would dig out a trench so that the water could go through. They would take some of the logs and drop them in the trench, and then cover them with some of the branches and things from the trees, and then put some other road material over the top of it. And the logs would be in line with the water, so the water could flow through the logs and create like a bridge. And the water would pass from one side of the road to the other.
That is cool.
And they could drive over it with their vehicles and not damage it, and therefore they wouldn't crush it, and because they were heavy-duty logs.
That is cool.
So we have instances of those on Horse Hill and a few other places.
So should it be pole, P-O-L-E?
Yeah, typically it's, yeah.
Okay, so it should be P-O-L-E, and then you would...
FORD.
F-O-R-D, okay.
So,
Okay.
yeah, cool. They clog up after time.
Yeah,
you
but
know,
it does
but
sound
for
cool.
logging operations, they only needed it to work for 3 weeks or 2 weeks or a month.
It's actually a pole
People are very
Ford.
smart back. People have some really good inventions from long
that's,
ago.
we've replaced a number of them in Greater Woods with stone Fords,
Yeah.
which was taking all the log out and the wood material and filled it up with large stone.
Yeah.
And then you put consecutively smaller and smaller stone on top of it. So by the time you get to the road surface, you're covering it with, fairly natural material,
Yeah.
but they're still allowing the water to flow through.
So why can't they do that with the people that were here earlier? Why aren't they doing pole Fords for their water problems? That's a conversation for something else. Anyway,
Temporary versus permanent.
okay.
Well, now, they're,
We won't get into it now.
That's different.
yeah,
Anyway.
they'd have to excavate quite a bit
All right,
at the base
page
of that hill to do that work.
6.
Pole
Page
Ford,
6.
P-O-L-E-F-O-R-D. So what is,
Go for it. Okay, now we're on page 6, line 25. When asked if the bike group E is affiliated, why do we have E in there? Oh, he is affiliated with. Okay, so that shouldn't be E, it should be he. Put an H in there.
When asked if the bike group, he
He is affiliated with utilizes. Okay. On page 9, line 30. You have bylaws on line 30, and then you have bylaws down on 37. I actually looked at the bylaws, and there is no hyphen between by and laws. So in the interest of consistency on line 30, let's take the hyphen out.
What about the capitalized or not?
It's all capitalized, so I think you want to decide, do you want it capitalized or not?
So line 30 is actually, I think, a cut and paste from the actual agenda.
Is it? Okay. I left my agenda at home, so
you're on page 9,
I'm on page 9,
line 30.
line
Okay.
30.
30 and 37.
Yep. Commission to review its bylaws.
Yeah, so I think changing that would,
Pardon me?
I don't think we should change that.
All right, so then we will leave it alone. All right, but on line 36 of, also on page 9, the commission has also created management plans and stewardship plans for, instead of is properties, for its properties. So add a T in there. Page 10, line 30. Greater Woods, strike the E out of greater.
Can't believe I missed that one.
That's all I have.
I have one. Page 11, line 31. When asked if they would utilize gravel, he noted 3/4 miles of the crushed
Oh.
gravel. 3/4 stone? That's supposed to be 3/4 stone?
3/4 minus.
3/4 minus.
Minus?
Good catch.
3/4 minus gravel, or 3/4 minus crushed gravel. It's not of. There should be no of in there either.
So 3/4
3/4 minus crushed gravel.
So that means the gravel is smaller than 3/4 of an inch.
Okay. Thank you.
And then 4 plus is gravel is bigger than 4 inches.
Okay.
So they have a machine that takes stuff smaller than 4 inches, so it's 4 inches or bigger.
What's that little pea stone that you can walk on? What size is that?
Pea stone.
Pea stone.
Now I know what to order.
That's the technical term.
Well, that's also indicative of its shape. It means it's rounded corners and stuff, because you wouldn't be walking on crushed stone. It's literally crushed, so it's all jagged and sharp.
Right. That could be brutal to your feet.
Right. Okay.
The welcome mat is pea stone.
That's it.
All those in favor?
Anyone, comments, questions? Anyone else? No? All right. All those in favor? Passes 6-0-0. Okay.
Thanks, Don. That was a lot of minutes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Those actually, it really wasn't any more minutes than normal. The thing is, the font is larger.
Oh, is that what it is?
Mm.
And you noticed that too?
Yes. Because I didn't have to wear my glasses to read it.
I still do.
Okay. Commissioner comments. Gina, anything?
No, I think I'm all set.
Mike?
No comment?
Cindy?
I'm just going to say, if you remember last year, there was the beaver bill that I brought to you guys, or that had gone out, and there were some concerns because of the dams, what you could do on your own property with the beaver dams. And they ended up pulling the bill last year, and this year they're going to be coming out with another one. The wording isn't up yet, like it's for any bills. Right now they're LSRs. But I was told that our concerns were taken into account. So I just wanted to let everybody know that when I do see that the wording is out on the bill, I'll pass it around and we can look at it. I don't know if there's any other bills of interest to us yet, but I know the NHACC is usually good about, looking at that. But that's it.
Thank you.
The only comment I have is David House, Peter, a lot of people, a lot of volunteers doing a lot of work in our trails and at our properties. Trash pickups. I saw a scout group doing a trash pickup on the side of the road. So just want to thank all the volunteers that are out there doing stuff.
Yep,
day after day.
absolutely. Thank you very much.
Now let's have you do out there.
It's therapy, Van.
Yeah.
Tim?
Did anything come of the shrubs on Natticook Road? Or whatever that was?
No, I responded to Lori in what we spoke about, the fact that just giving us some kind of an official thing. Hey, this is what we're going to do. This is where we're going to put them, and just so we have something down at community development, and I can follow up with her and find out where we are with that. She may have sent it down there and just didn't send it to me.
Right, because I heard from an abutter who reached out
Okay.
and said, "Hey, don't we have a say? We live right there. We get to see it every day."
Well, there is a right of way easement the town owns along that road for purposes of management.
Yeah.
So I don't know we really have a whole lot to say if they want to put anything up. And we could talk. We could talk to them, but it's going to be. I think it's going to be.
No, it's not us who wants to say
No,
it, but
yeah.
they'd like to have a say.
Yeah, it is. It's be too bad because it is a pretty spot, but it is treacherous in the wintertime.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been through
So
there.
right, I know. I
Yeah.
used to live right near there.
Yeah.
It's right on my way to head to grocery shopping and all that. I can remember a Saturday evening trying to get through there, and it was snowbanked right out. It was wind blown right out.
Yeah.
But the comment I was given was, okay, so they have to go back 3 or 4 snowstorms a year, a couple of times to make sure it's clear. Is that really worth obstructing the view?
What's this?
So Natticook Road, that's the road with Wasserman Park on it.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you were to come from Meeting House Road, you go up over the hill, you come back around, you swing around, there is the duck pond that people call it, a goose pond, okay? That's part of Horse Hill technically. Right there where Greens Pond Road is, wind comes screaming over the water, picks up snow and deposits it on Natticook Road, and could even blow it across into Greens Pond Road, where that T intersection is, a rounded intersection. So therefore, you get snow drifts. And DPW has to go back in and replow that section a number of times during a snowstorm if it's windy at the same time, if we have blizzard-like conditions and stuff like that. So the thought was to take some evergreens, plant them along that way so it would be a wind block. And if nothing else, the snow would pile up against the evergreens and not necessarily make it to the road.
Or, like they do at every ski resort and all the way up north, just put up snow fence in the winter.
Yeah.
Put up a 200-foot section of snow fence there.
I know
They do it on bridges and other things as well.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
That's what they
They used to
do.
do that by BAE sometimes when the wind used to blow the snow across the road there.
Yeah.
But you said it's a visibility problem for them when they come out and they want to make a.
No, it's the view.
Right,
Oh.
if you plant those evergreens, the
Yeah.
view is now obstructed for now on.
Okay.
And they have to be maintained. Those evergreens will have to be maintained
Yeah.
because they will take abuse.
Well, absolutely. I mean, they probably won't survive if there's that much snow and wind, so, yeah, snow fence makes perfect sense.
If you look at that road too, prior to the water level, because that's where the water leveling device is. It's right there. And that drained that entire pond down, 4 or 5 inches.
Yeah.
And it has kept it there, which is great. But if you go and look at the roadway, linearly along the roadway, there's cracks in the road. And that's typical of the road being underpinned by moisture. And you can see that that's been there for a couple of years now. Those cracks have not gotten any bigger. We went and traced them a little while after we put the water leveler in to see if they got any bigger, and they've stopped. So the water leveler device it's doing its job, and it's keeping that ground much more firm. You're putting trees in there, you're going to get root growth, which may be, especially an evergreen, because they're going to be top roots. They're not really going to get down deep.
Evergreens go wide.
Yeah,
They don't
so
go deep.
yeah, that might be more problem than it's worthwhile.
Well,
Because it's
then,
going to be 10, 12 years from now before it's going to be an issue. But
then they get tall,
So-
and in the wind, the pines fall.
So this is a recommendation that we're making to the Public Works of what to put there, or?
I suppose it can be. Sure.
So after further evaluation, the commission suggests looking at snow fence as opposed to evergreens, which can pose other maintenance issues.
I can certainly follow up with Lori about that.
You can bury some 4x4s in there, 6 feet high, and
Just post snow fence on, put the snow fence on, and just take it down. And in the summertime, it's
Right. There's
Something to lean on.
Right. It'll help keep a vehicle from going in.
Yeah.
The pond.
God, we're brilliant.
Did you see the fact that a vehicle went through the sound barrier wall?
or down off of Greens Pond Road.
Greens Pond Road. Yes, I saw
On
that.
its roof.
Yes.
No, what happened?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Greens
Around
Pond
that
Road
rock?
went around that corner that if you take it too sharply, you're going to roll, and they did. They were rolling
When was
right
this?
towards Greens Pond a month ago.
Mm.
Oh, I didn't hear about
No
that.
one was hurt?
No.
No.
Good.
No.
3
Thankfully.
people in the car too.
Thankfully.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. SUV went
wow.
over.
Yeah, they're very tippy.
All right.
Yeah, no, the butter just asked for the opportunity to comment on the solution, since they are the ones that will be dealing with it on a daily basis.
Would the abutter be pleased with snow fence?
It's better than evergreens.
Yeah, you can't have
Well,
everything.
it'd be seasonal, so it will be gone.
Yeah.
They could put black snow fence up. It's not as awful as the orange.
I like orange.
Orange. I'm sorry, I say orange funny. Apparently, my kids keep telling me.
That's all I have.
And when I say we're brilliant, I mean Matt's brilliant because Matt thought of it.
Okay. I don't have anything to add. So,
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
All right. 600 at 8:50.